What is it that binds us to this place as to no other?
The following is a presentation of the Tar Heels Sports Network.
1997. That was Mack Brown's last year of his first tenure as Tar Heel head coach. And that year, 26 seasons ago, was the last time Carolina started a football season 4-0. Carolina has not been a juggernaut in the 2+ decades since, but hard to believe that not once, not the Ronald Curry, Julius Peppers 01 Peach Bowl team, not the quality Butch Davis squads in the late 2000s, not the 11-win group in 2015, not even Sam Howell in the Orange Bowl squad from 2020. Not once have the Heels started a season 4-0 since then. With wins over South Carolina, Appalachian State, and Minnesota, the 2023 Tar Heels have that chance tonight. But it won't be easy. Awaiting is a frustrated Pitt team playing at home, looking to get its season back on track and desperately wanting to deny Carolina a 4-0 start to the year. The Tar Heels Sports Network's coverage of the 17th meeting between Carolina and Pittsburgh starts right now.
Maye will throw. Steps up in the pocket. Rockets it over the middle. Caught at the 25, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Carolina. Paysour, take a bow, young man. Maye to throw. Now he's going to tuck it and run. Steps through a tackle. Has the first down and more. They will run Elijah Green. Big hole. One cut. Touchdown. Maye fakes it. Runs to the left. Maye. Touchdown, Carolina. The Heels march down for 6. Now it's going to play action and throw. Pressure coming. Duke Caldwell slings him down. There you go, young fella. Yes, sir. Elijah Green left side. Elijah Green cuts up and cuts in for 6. End zone, one-handed. Holy smokes, what a catch. Maye steps out of the pocket going left side. Maye 10-5, touchdown, Carolina. Tar Heels within a point. Maye quickly over the middle. Caught there, stepping through a tackle and stepping to the end zone. Bryson Nesbitt for 6 more. It is pouring points in Chapel Hill.
This is Carolina football on the Tar Heels Sports Network.
This is Jones Angel. So far this season, Carolina has won with defense, with a powerful rushing attack, and on the strength of its outstanding quarterback. The Heels will likely need some of all those ingredients tonight to pick up a road victory at Pitt. Joe Yock is a former Tar Heel wide receiver who went on to play professionally in the CFL.
Heels starting 3-0. Jones excited to be back in the booth with you and Lee on the sidelines, and you couldn't have said it any better. You're talking about stick your hand in the dirt, get after the quarterback, and then when it all comes down to it, and you got to rely on your All-American quarterback, you just throw the ball down the field and rush it. Excited about this big game tonight against Pitt.
Lee Pace offers extra points. He'll be reporting from the soggy sidelines this evening.
Yeah, Jones, wondering just how soggy it will be. We were hoping we would dodge a curveball from the weather today. It was kind of dreary and drizzly all day today, but it's raining a little bit now. We'll go down in a few minutes and see what footing is going to be on the field today and see how it affects Drake Maye and the Carolina running game.
We'll have all those storylines to talk about. Plus, you're going to hear from both head coaches, Mack Brown and Pat Narduzzi. We'll continue our weekly pregame conversations with Carolina great Jeff Saturday. You'll hear from another Tar Heel great, Chris Keldorf. Plus, we'll keep you up to date. It's, of course, been an incredibly busy day. It's been a busy night, too, in the ACC and Top 25. We'll keep you up to date with scores. All of that and much more coming up. It's Carolina at Pitt and the Reed's Jewelers pregame show from Learfield.
Carolina football is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Take a taste. And by Hunt Brothers Pizza, the official pizza of Carolina Athletics. This is the Reed's Jewelers pregame show.
Coming your way from Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Tar Heel Sports Network on the air with Carolina football. Man, we're glad to be here with you. The weather's not real nice, but we're excited to be bringing you some Tar Heel football tonight. Carolina trying to move to 4-0 road trip to see the Pitt Panthers tonight. You've heard from Joe Yacht. Joe is going to be our analyst tonight. Brian Simmons with some family things that he needed to take care of this weekend. So Brian will be back with us in 2 weeks when the Tar Heels host Syracuse. We're excited to have Joe here with us today. Lee's the man who's really got to wear it for us tonight because he's the one who will be down on the sideline in this wet weather. So we'll talk about that as we move through the broadcast. On our pregame show brought to you by Reed's Jewelers, trusted with life's moments. And Joe, game 4 of the year as the Tar Heels beginning ACC play. They're visiting Pittsburgh, and man, the Tar Heels have won in multiple ways through 4 weeks so far, and they hope that stern out-of-conference slate, which has seen them face South Carolina and Appalachian State and Minnesota, they hope that helps them today and moving forward through ACC action.
Yeah, just love the fact that the Heels are battle-tested against good football teams. They waited an entire season to show who the real Carolina is. And then you look at the App State game. That's their Super Bowl. You know, it wasn't pretty, but the Heels found a way, and that's what good teams do. You know, Minnesota was a defend your home turf against a really good football team, just solid all the way around us. And then through those games, you find out the good is you know who you are, and you gain confidence by beating good teams early. The bad is the effort beats you up a little bit physically. However, it also gives your second-tier guys the opportunity to play and prove themselves, which only makes you better in the long haul.
And Joe, Mack Brown has still got a sour taste in his mouth about that 3-0 start to begin the 2020 season when the Tar Heels were kind of the buzz of college football during the offseason. They started out 3-0, went down to Florida State and got smacked in the nose and lost there. And Coach Brown said he thought that team was not ready to be good. It was not mature enough. And he hopes, and also last year still is a sore subject. 3-0 last year and then lost to Notre Dame. So twice Mack Brown's teams since he came back to Chapel Hill have been 3-0, and he talked a lot of this week about we got to learn to finish that. We've got to learn to get comfortable being uncomfortable. We've got to learn to press ourselves, not listen to the pats on the back, and be ready to be consistent every single week, which we have not done in the past.
Yeah, that Florida State game in particular in 2020. Remember, the final score ended up being 31-28, but the Seminoles just jumped on the Tar Heels early in that game. Carolina was taken aback, eventually worked back in, but were in such a big hole early that it was going to take a really super effort to win that one, which they came up a little bit short. They're hoping to avoid a similar fate this evening. Lee, there seem to be some whispers among Tar Heel faithful that after the first 2 games, Drake Maye's stats just weren't good enough. They weren't on par with that remarkable year that he had a year ago. So with 414 yards passing, couple touchdowns last week, Maye seemed to remind everybody he's still pretty good at this quarterbacking thing.
Well, Jones, it was a mandate from Mack Brown and Chip Lindsey at the beginning of the year. We have got to run the ball better. So I think a little bit of a backslide in Drake's stats was a given and something that they wanted and that they expected. And who knows, maybe if Tez Walker had been able to play as a valuable outside threat, if Nate McCollum hadn't been bothered those first 2 games, if those guys hadn't been ready, the passing game might have been a little bit more effective. But Tar Heels showed they could run the ball against South Carolina. They showed they could run it against App State. Last week, Minnesota really bunched the line of scrimmage. They dared the Tar Heels to be able to run the ball, so they did what they could have done and should have done, which is throw the ball, and that's what Mack Brown told Chip Lindsey at halftime. Let's not be stubborn. Let's not just try to run the ball for running the ball's sake. Let's give the ball to Drake. And Mack made an interesting comment this week. He referenced Jim Harbaugh, the Michigan coach, using the term we-fence instead of offense and defense. And Coach Brown said, I like that. It shows complementary sides of the ball, offense and defense working together, and the Tar Heels are doing that better this year than they have in any of his years here since.
Drake Maye still comes into this game leading the ACC and 9th in the country in total offense per game. He's about 23 yards less per game right now this year than he was last year, but Carolina is also averaging 44 more yards per game rushing this year than it was last year. So those stats all kind of balancing each other out. It's just a different way, as Lee referenced, that the Tar Heels are trying to be successful, and so far this year they have done just that. Joe, let's flip it on the other side. Defensively, Carolina's not matched that eye-popping production that it had against South Carolina with the 9 sacks and the 16 tackles for loss. But, man, they were active a week ago against Minnesota. A couple interceptions. They had 8 passes broken up. 7 quarterback hurries. Mac Brown, Gene Chizik said they counted 8 hits on the quarterback, even though those aren't necessarily sacks. Carolina's defense, again, not necessarily getting the sacks and the tackles for loss at that rate, but still all around the football.
Yeah, and it's great now as they've recruited depth on the defensive line, be able to rotate a lot of guys through. And honestly, that's the key to this whole. Having a front 7 that can get and put their hand in the dirt, be violent with their hands, and get after the quarterback. The secondary of Carolina calls themselves the Rude Boys, and it's a whole lot easier to be rude when Des Evans, Kamen Rucker the Butcher, Cedric Gray, Power Eccles are getting after the quarterback with that front 4 rushing the quarterback, and then being able to have the blitz package to do that. You look at the game tonight. We're going to get a little more into this with keys to the game, but Phil Jurkovec, the quarterback, when you pressure him, his numbers drop so drastically. So I just really think that front 7 playing with that passion, the violent hands, the aggressiveness of getting after the quarterback, that is going to be a huge part of this football game tonight. Be able to do that and then get them to turn over the football and then capitalize off those turnovers.
Hey guys, how about that power end where Des Evans only had to play 36 snaps last week. He had Bo Atkinson come in for 15, and then Jacoby Cowan came in for 7 and had a key sack there. So Coach Gene Chizik just talked about if we can play guys and not have to go more than 40 snaps, we can keep them fresh through the whole game.
Absolutely. That is the theme for the Tar Heel defense this year is playing multiple guys. Gene Chizik said that on average, he said he thought maybe they played 14 to 15 players total per game defensively last year. On average. Last week, Carolina played 21 different players. They want to play between 22 and 25 different guys in a single game on the defensive side of the ball and do just what Lee and Joe were talking about there. Fewer snaps per guy so that when you are out there, you can play with higher effort, higher violence, etc. And so that is really the goal for the Tar Heel defense. It's been paying off here early. Still some steps to take. They hope to take those today against the Panthers. One last thing before we take a break. Lee, a major part of Carolina's success early this year has been third down. They were 12 of 17 on third down last week against Minnesota. They lead the ACC. They're second in the country, converting 65% on third down. Just an incredible number for the Tar Heel offense.
Well, Jones, one of the things I like being on the sideline the most is in the second half of a big non-conference game or an ACC game is the defense getting 3 and outs and getting stops on third down. We've not seen a whole lot of that the last few years, but last week against Minnesota, first series of the third quarter, a 3rd and 10. Des Evans had a stop for a 2-yard gain. Early in the fourth quarter, Don Chapman had a nice breakup on 3rd and 9. And then the next series, Jacoby Cowan had a sack on 3rd and 2. So Carolina is getting the ball back more confidently on defense, giving it back to the offense. And that power running game we're talking about is one thing that is really helping that offense on third down.
Yeah, when you look offensively, I talked to my old buddy Deans Maye before the game and said this Minnesota game last week is going to come down to third down conversions. And when they set the tempo, when Drake to McCollum set the tempo on a 3rd and 12 for a 46-yard touchdown, and then to be able to convert at that rate, keep the ball out of their hands, possessing the football, because just like Pitt, they're going to want to run the football. They're going to want to run the clock. They're going to want to do all those things to hold on to the football. So if you can win those third down battles and stay at the top of the nation, that good things will happen for the Heels tonight.
Yeah, Tar Heels struggled some defensively on third down against App. The Mountaineers were 8 of 17 in that game. We talked a bunch about it during that contest. But South Carolina, Minnesota combined just converting at 27% at third down. Tar Heels would like to see a number for the Panthers closer to that tonight. And speaking of Pitt, we'll talk about the opponents when we come back. It's the Reeves Jewelers pregame show from Learfield. Steady rain continues to fall here in Pittsburgh. Both teams out on the field going through warm-ups. Tar Heels to your left. Carolina going all white tonight with the Carolina blue accents across the board from the helmets to the jerseys to the breeches. Meanwhile, Pitt in those mustard yellow helmets, bright royal blue jerseys and the yellow pants as well. We'll go through the full uniform report brought to you by Duncan a little later in the show. But let's talk about the opponent tonight. It is Pittsburgh. Panthers, Joe, have had a frustrating start to the year. They're 1-2, beat Wofford in their first game, but back-to-back unattractive losses since then to two teams they want to beat, two teams in their area, Cincinnati, and then a rival loss to West Virginia.
Yeah, it hasn't gone the way that they've wanted to go, but, as the old coach Dennis Green said, they are who we thought they are. And, you're going to get what you get from Pittsburgh, and they're going to try to run the football. They're going to play. They think that they're tough. They're physical. That's who they are, who they become, and that's what they want to be. They're not going to change that. They're not going to change that whatsoever. And then they're going to try to get after you on defense. They're going to try to frustrate you, get some turnovers, and create momentum in their direction. So that's what the Tar Heels are up against. So don't think for 1 second because they're 1-2. They had some frustrating losses. Hey, when you're a tough football team, you have the opportunity to rebound. Expect them to rebound and have a hard-fought battle tonight.
Yeah, Carolina, Mac Brown fully on board with his team, saying that you are going to get Pitt's absolute best shot tonight. They're backed into the corner a little bit with these back-to-back losses early in the season. Fully expect the Panthers to play at an extraordinarily high level this evening. Lee, all the talk around Pitt this week has been about the quarterback spot. Notre Dame and Boston College transfer Phil Jurkovec, man, he has really struggled. In his last two games, the 6-year player is just 18 of 52 passing the football. That's 34.6% completion percentage. He has just 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in those two games. Carolina has seen Jurkovec be better before, but certainly he has not been very good here as of late.
Well, Jones, we know Jurkovec can throw the ball because he threw it well against the Tar Heels up at BC in 2020. And he also threw for more than 5,000 yards and 35 touchdowns in 3 years there. He's also playing in the same system he did at Boston College because Frank Cignetti was his coordinator and quarterbacks coach there in 2020 at BC and is now with the Panthers. He's a 6-year guy. He's a Pitt native, so he knows this is a tough town, and he knows that the boos can come at any moment. You got to look at the surrounding cast, and you just got to wonder who is he playing around. That offensive line has given up 32 pressures so far this year, and they've not protected him very well. I think that's got a lot to do with it, and we're going to see if the Tar Heels can continue to get pressure on the quarterback tonight.
Yeah, just a couple things. The stats from that game in 2020, Jurkovec against Carolina, he was 37 of 56 for 313 yards, 2 scores. He didn't have an interception, although it didn't count as an interception, but remember, BC went for 2 to try and tie the game. Trey Morrison intercepted it, ran it back for a 2-point play for the Tar Heels. So he did throw one, but technically it didn't count as one. And Lee mentioned the offensive line. There have been some moving parts up there for Boston College. Their presumed starter at right guard, Ryan Jacoby, out for the year with a preseason injury. Maybe their best offensive lineman, Matt Gonzalez, was injured last week in the loss to West Virginia. We're going to have to wait and see. Pitt is very tight with injury information, so we're going to have to wait and see if Gonzalez is even available tonight for them. He is the normal starter at left tackle, so it has been an adventure up there across the offensive line for the Panthers so far. Let's finish things up, though, by Joe talking about the other side of the ball, and you referenced this a little bit in your first statement. Pitt, still what they normally are on defense. They're physical. They've been effective. They lead the ACC and are top 5 nationally in total yards per game allowed, just 236, and passing yards allowed, a paltry 114 per game.
Yeah, and when you look at games like, we always talk about the toughness and the physicality of a game, but when Pitt gets in that 3-3-5 defense, they can bring multiple blitz packages in multiple ways. And so what the big part of this game is going to be is not just the physical part of it, but the mental side of it. The mental side of it, especially from the offensive line, understanding who you're supposed to block, the running backs in pass protection, on who they got to pick up. If they can understand their protections, pick up the wide variety of blitzes that Pitt can run, give Drake Maye time in the pocket to throw the football, they're going to be in man-to-man coverage on the outside. And if you give Drake some time, and our receivers some time to get open, they can chew it up. Where they can cause a massive amount of frustration is if you don't get your pickups and they're in our backfield all game hitting Drake from every direction. So big part of this game tonight is going to be that mental aspect.
Yeah, interesting mention. They're only giving up 114 yards passing. Teams just haven't thrown the ball very much against them. West Virginia last week, for example, ran it 51 times. It only threw 11 passes in the total game. Through 3 games, Pitt opponents are running the ball 67% of the time. So at least Wofford and then Cincinnati and West Virginia have very decidedly tried to run the football against Pitt, and they've done some with some success, and especially Cincinnati. Bearcats ran for 216 yards in that game against Pitt.
Yeah, and the thing with this is Carolina has to show patience in the run game. I think this is one of these games where they may get stuffed for a couple yards, have a negative play. But if you stick with the run, it's going to have the opportunity to break one out for a long gain. And then the other side of it is that the beauty of Carolina's offense is the ability, if we're going to run the football and we run the football well, we can continue to do that in this offense. But if the run is getting stopped, having the weapons and be able to stand back, as the Minnesota game was, where we didn't even run the ball one time in the third quarter, have the capability of doing that also. So you got to defend the UNC offense in a lot of different ways.
All right, we're going to head to break. When we come back, Dave Nathan's going to grab control of the wheel for the rest of the Reed's Jewelers pregame show. Next segment has our conversation with Tar Heel great Jeff Saturday. That and more is still coming. We're counting you down to Carolina and Pittsburgh from Learfield.
Dave Nathan welcoming you back to the Reed's Jewelers pregame show. The official Reed's Jewelers kickoff time tonight is 8:05. Reed's Jewelers, your home for fine Swiss timepieces, beautiful diamonds, and the world's most luxurious jewelry brands. That's Reed's Jewelers, trusted with life's moments. We trust Jeff Saturday to tell us something we don't know each and every time we connect with him. Here's his conversation with Jones.
Late night Saturday night, Carolina at Pittsburgh. Tar Heels trying to improve to 4-0 for the first time since 1997. That's hard to believe. And speaking of some of those great teams in the mid to late 90s, Jeff Saturday joining us via the telephone, always does during the pregame show. We appreciate Jeff's time. And yeah, Jeff, Carolina has done well so far this season. Heels sitting at 3-0. They feel like they've done some good things. Coach Brown has talked here over the last week or two about not getting comfortable, and he feels like at times over the last few seasons when Carolina's had success for multiple weeks in a row that they've gotten too comfortable. How do you avoid that and still keep an edge even when you're playing at a high level?
Yeah, don't believe the hype, right? I mean that's kind of the old adage. Don't read the newspaper clippings and believe it. Realize that you found ways to win. Tight game, went overtime. I mean, you're finding ways to win, but don't rest in that. Make sure that you keep the edge. Understand that you go out tonight and play mid, you're gonna get beat. But I think the attitude of guys of staying hungry and understanding, as good as we have been and as high as we've been ranked in the past years, it's not translated. We haven't gone 4-0 like you said since way back in my day, and that's a long time ago. So obviously, just because people think you're good, you got to go prove you're good. And I think by him bringing that up and bringing that to the guys' attention and saying, "Hey, listen, we've gotten flat when people told us how good we are. Don't fall back into that." And it's such a coaching cliche, but it's so true. And the problem is when you overestimate your opponent. Right, you get into games all of a sudden you're like, oh man, we can play. But when you underestimate, all of a sudden it's like you kind of get into this fight at the end, and all the pressure flips to the team that should be doing well, and you feel a whole lot more pressure. Take care of it early. Start play within yourself. Understand what you got to do. Play physical football. Go back to all the fundamentals that you've talked about since the training camp, and trust in those things. That's really how you stay consistent in football, in all honesty. All the rest of it, it kind of goes out the wayside. Every game, takes on its own personality. But you trust in those fundamentals that we coached and what we played, you'll come out tonight with a victory.
Jeff, a couple weeks ago, the App game, Tar Heels rushed for more than 300 yards in that game. Last week, Minnesota wasn't going to let Carolina run the ball, and so Drake Maye did his Drake Maye stuff and threw for 414 yards and hit some deep balls down the field that helped Carolina to that 18-point win. I know it probably seems obvious, but when you're able to be that versatile and when you're able to be that diverse in how you can hurt teams, how difficult does that become for the opponent to try and defend the Tar Heels moving forward?
Oh, it's a nightmare defensively because you start talking about, okay, we'll take this away, but where do they go? So we take that away. What's going to be the answer? And the next thing you know, you got a laundry list of things of, hey, we got to stop this, we got to stop that. So your preparation throughout the week from a defensive perspective is an absolute nightmare. I'll tell you honestly, it's not just that we've been able to do both; it's that we've done it, in situations where we had to have it. Like you said, you had to have it against App, and you're rushing the ball up and down the field, and then Minnesota's a big physical team up front on both sides of the ball. Okay, this is what we got to go do. But drawing on those experiences is so vital for an offense. And from an offensive perspective, Jones, the confidence that is built that if they take something away, we have an answer. As that builds through the season, I'm just telling you, you get this level of confidence in, we're not going to be stopped. Okay, they stopped this. This isn't going quite as good as we'd like it to go. We're going to go hit them with this for a while. And then when it starts to happen in games where you can do both in games, they try to take something away, in-game adjustment, they make an adjustment, and you come back with an answer. It gives you this idea that you're unbeatable. And so I do love the fact that we've had to call on all aspects of our offense and defensive, honestly, and that we've had to pull from these things because drawing from that and finding ways to win, that's really how you separate yourself at the latter portion of the season. So excited that they've been able to fight those fights and do what they're supposed to do. But the exciting part is, like you said, man, we're finding different ways to answer. It's not like, oh, all we're going to do is depend on Drake Maye, or all we're going to do is depend on the run game, or it's not that. It's, hey, if they take one away, we got an answer. Take another one, we got the other answer. So got to be excited about that. Let's just stay consistent tonight. Let's get this victory.
Tar Heels looking for more answers tonight as they jump into conference play against Pitt. Jeff, man, always appreciate the time and look forward to talking with you soon.
Carolina football is brought to you by Wells Fargo, official retail bank sponsor of Carolina Athletics. This is the Reed's Jewelers pregame show.
Every sack is a sack to give back. For every sack the Tar Heels make this season, Food Line Feeds will donate 1,000 meals to feed our neighbors right here in Chapel Hill. Jones told you earlier, the 1997 Carolina football team was the last Tar Heel squad to open up the season 4-0. Chris Keldorf quarterbacked that bunch to an 11-1 final record, and he told me how tough it is to get off to such a good start.
It's hard. It's real hard. That 1997 team, special unit, it certainly helps when you have the number one defense in the country. So I want to make sure that that's out there and clear. So having that on the other side of the ball certainly helps. But starting the season undefeated, 3-0, going 4-0, it's really, really tough. Opposing teams have a lot of film. But again, it takes all three phases of the game. I was just fortunate enough to have a really, really good defense at the time. But again, if they go 4-0, hats off to them. It's very, very challenging.
Chris, almost everybody I've talked to from those mid to late 90s days say that practice was harder than the games, and I'm guessing you probably have a couple of good stories to tell us about how much better that defense made you Monday through Friday.
Well, I think I was going up against the number one defense in the country, and I think 7, 8, 9 of them won the first 2-3 rounds of the draft. Mac Brown created a very, very competitive environment. So essentially Monday through Thursday, I had the luxury and the privilege going against the very best in the country, full speed. And when you look at coverages and you look at pass rush and all the things that you want to bring into the actual game itself, well, I had that, 3, 4, 5 days a week against some very, very talented defenders. So that was certainly an advantage that I had going in. I've already faced the best. So now carrying that into Saturday was a challenge, but it certainly did help our offense facing the very best every week.
That's former Carolina quarterback Chris Keldorf here on the Reed's Jewelers pregame show as we send things back up to Pittsburgh. Lee Pace down on the field. Lee, the weather certainly has been a big plot line today and tonight. What's happening downstairs as we speak?
Well, Dave, we had hoped that Tropical Storm Ophelia, which was tracking mostly to the east of us and had downloaded a lot of water in the Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina area today, that it was going to bypass us. But unfortunately, late this afternoon and this evening, it has started to rain some. Not a whole lot of wind blowing, and fortunately, the temperatures are only in the low 60s, so it's not going to be particularly cold. This is Kentucky Bluegrass here at what used to be Heinz Field. It is now Acrisure Stadium, so it's going to be a little slick. It's a nice thick stand of grass. It's in good shape, but we're going to see how much footing is going to affect us. Carolina has just left the field, has gone in for its final tune-up in the locker room. Several personnel notes here, Dave. Gavin Blackwell, the wide receiver, did not travel. He is not with the Tar Heels tonight after an upper body injury last week against Minnesota. Willie Lampkin, for the second week, will not dress out, will not play. Offensive lineman. He suffered an injury in practice before the Minnesota game. Also, Elijah Green did not travel. He is not available from the running backs. And what had been a six-man running back stable earlier back in August, Dave, is down to four now with Omarion Hampton, British Brooks, Caleb Hood, and George Pettaway. Also interesting to see, Armani Chapman looks like he's going to get a start in one of the cornerback positions. And, of course, Dre Green, Chris Colleray, true freshman, might get some additional playing time at receiver with Gavin Blackwell not playing.
That's our Pinehurst sideline reporter Lee Pace down on the field in Pittsburgh. We'll take a break here on the Reed Jewelers pregame show and come back to begin Jones' conversation with Coach Brown in the Continental Tire Coaches Corner. That comes your way next from Learfield. The Reed Jewelers pregame show continues with the Continental Tire Coaches Corner. It's brought to you by Continental Tire, the smart choice in tires. And for a dealer near you, just go to ContinentalTire.com.
Inside the Continental Tire Coaches Corner with the head coach of the Tar Heels, Mack Brown. Carolina beginning ACC play and doing it on the road against Pittsburgh. Coach, you often say you at least get a little bit of a feel from your team during the week of practice leading up to a game. What have those practices and your team's effort in those practices told you about this week?
Jones, we've had a good week's practice. They've got tremendous respect for Pitt. They're one of the toughest teams in the league. They won the ACC championship 2 years ago, so they've got great players and they're hungry. The question is, we've had one of the toughest out-of-conference schedules in the country. We've had three really, really physical games. They've been punishing. We got some guys banged up, and everybody in the country, every now and then, has an up and down weekend, and this can't be ours. I've told the guys, if you're going to be a team that you want to be, you got to step it up every week, because all these teams are about alike and players are about alike. When you go on the road, it's harder. Everything's harder. So you got to take care of the ball tonight. You got to run the ball tonight. You got to stop the run tonight. You got to play good in the kicking game and try to disrupt their quarterback and protect ours. It's a simple game that is played by complicated people.
You've had to move some pieces around on your offensive line to accommodate for injuries. How's that unit faring against what is a pretty good defensive front?
I didn't think we blocked for the run well last week, and Minnesota was a really good defense. They're very well taught, and they kept a lot of people in the box, so we just started throwing the ball in the third quarter. But you want to run the ball, and we did in the fourth quarter last week. But in the third quarter, they took the run away from us, and it was really disappointing. So we've had a lot of people banged up, especially at guard, but those are excuses. A lot of people have hurt people. So we've got to step up and make sure tonight that we can be physical and stay balanced. And when you're running the ball well, you can protect your quarterback. And we've got one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And when we protect him, he's really good. So we've got to run the ball well tonight and protect Drake.
Speaking of Drake, coming off an impressive performance a week ago against Minnesota, yet he never seems to be too affected by a terrific performance or one that doesn't play up to his very high standard. What do you think gives him that quality?
He's been raised right. He's got a great family. He's been raised in a family of champions. The expectations in his family and for him are really, really high, and he probably never reaches what he thinks he should. And he's done better with not being so hard on himself, and if he has a tough play, letting it go. But he's a leader. He's a captain tonight. He's one of the best to ever play the game in my estimation, especially this is his second year going into his fourth game. So he had maybe the second best passing day he's ever had last week. So there's some great times ahead, and let's hope we protect him well enough. If we do our job and help him, he's going to play good every week.
Drake and the rest of the Tar Heels, as Coach mentioned, going to see Pittsburgh. We'll talk about the Panthers a little later in our pregame show.
Did you know that the famously original Kakalaki brand was born in Chapel Hill more than 2 decades ago? Their sauces and nuts are enjoyed at tailgate parties throughout America. They're also the makers of the Carolina Tar Heels barbecue sauce, found in Carolina concession stands and North Carolina grocers and retailers. Made by Tar Heels for Tar Heels. Visit kakalaki.com to find out more. We're going to find out more from Jones and Coach Brown in just a moment in the Continental Tire Coaches Corner. But right now, as we come up towards the top of the hour, let's pause 10 seconds for station ID on the Tar Heel Sports Network.
Carolina and Pitt meet for the 17th time. It comes in Pittsburgh tonight. I'm inside the Continental Tire Coaches Corner with the Hall of Fame head coach of the Tar Heels, Mack Brown. Coach, this marks the 10th game Carolina and Pitt have played as ACC members. 8 of the previous 9 have been decided by 7 or fewer points. That includes 2 of the 3 that your teams, so since you came back to coach, have played. What do you think it is that has kept these games so close between these two teams through the years?
It's probably great respect for each program, because it wouldn't be that way. So both teams have been ready to play, and last 2 times we've been up here with me, we were in overtime, and both had a first-round draft choice quarterback, so they're really, really good. And then last year's game was a close game that we pulled away in the fourth quarter. So great respect. Both teams have a tremendous amount of pride, and I expect tonight to be the same.
Coach, Pitt comes in top 5 nationally in total defense and passing defense. What in your mind has allowed them to have that kind of success defensively?
Pat Narduzzi is a great defensive coach. They believe in defense. They recruit guys that can run, that are tough and physical, and they play with a tremendous amount of pride. And that's what we're going to see here in a few minutes.
Last thing, Coach, it feels like just a great opportunity for your team tonight, other than winning, of course. 3.5 hours from now, what do you hope that you'll have to say about your group and what you will have seen from your group?
When I want our guys to be tougher longer, because both teams are going to be tough, and I want our guys to finish the game well. I want us to give 100% effort the entire ball game. And after the game, I want our fans, the Pitt fans, and the Pitt team to be able to say that they really respect what we put on the field tonight. And that's the most important thing.
Carolina and Pitt coming up soon. Big one in the ACC. Coach, as always, thank you for your time and best of luck.
Thank you, Jones.
It's the Reach Jewelers pregame show, and it continues with our keys to the game. Take your Tar Heels tailgate to the next level with a new Honda. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today. Jones, my key for this one, it's keeping Drake Maye upright. The offensive line has to protect the quarterback, and Drake needs to protect himself when he's outside the pocket.
Dave, the best way to do that is establish a strong rushing attack. Joe, if Carolina can establish a quality ground attack, diversify that offensive attack, that'll slow down Pitt a little bit, make it harder for them just to pin their ears back, try to go get Maye.
Yeah, my key to the game is going to be put Pitt in passing situations by stopping the run, and then get after the quarterback and create turnovers.
Let's check in with Lee, our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter. Lee.
Well, Jones, I'm going to take the back end of that unit Joe was just talking about. That secondary needs to continue to evolve, which it has through 3 games this year. They lost 2 guys to the transfer portal. 3 have been hurt. They've been evolving. They've been putting guys in different positions. They've now got 8 guys who played last week. Gene Chiswick said that secondary has not flinched yet. They've only given up a 37-yard pass. That's the biggest one. Don't flinch. Truer words were never said.
Let's check in with the coin toss. Tar Heels 3 captains for today: Drake Maye, Power Eccles, and Bryson Nesbitt. They're still announcing Larry Fitzgerald, the all-time great receiver here at Pittsburgh, as the honorary captain. He's joining the Pitt players at midfield, and he's getting a big pop, of course.
All right, Captain.
Let's listen in to referee Stuart Mullins.
The helmet is heads. The football is tails. Football is tails. Helmet is heads. What is your call?
Tails.
Tails is the call. And it is tails.
Yeah, we want to defer and kick away from the scoreboard.
North Carolina.
All right, you heard Drake Maye say that they want to defer after winning the toss, so that means Pitt will have the football first. Let's get to our Duncan uniform report. It's always game on with Duncan, which is why grabbing a coffee is the most important game day ritual, because the best call for football is Duncan. America runs on Duncan, and Carolina is wearing the all-white today with the Carolina blue NC on the side of the helmets, the Argyle stripe down the center of that helmet. The white jerseys have Carolina blue numbers and letters, and the white trousers have Carolina blue Argyle down the side. Meanwhile, Pitt in the bright yellow helmets with the script Pitt in blue on the side, a blue stripe down the center. Blue jerseys with yellow numbers and letters, and yellow pants tonight for the Panthers. Our starting lineups presented by Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2023 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. We'll start with Pitt. Phil Jurkovec, the embattled super senior at quarterback. When he was announced on the video board in pregame, the home crowd lustily booed Jurkovec. Ouch. 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, but just completing 46.5% of his passes. Rodney Hammond, the junior running back. Bub Means, Day Reynolds, and Konate Mumfield, the 3 listed starters at receiver. Gavin Bartholomew, really good tight end. The junior has 7 catches and a touchdown this year. Some movement on the O-line due to injuries. Ryan Baer, Blake Zubovic, Jason Collier Jr., Terrence Moore, and Branson Taylor, the 5 starters from left to right as announced in the stadium before the game. Meanwhile, Carolina up front, Des Evans, Kevin Hester, Miles Murphy, and Kamen Rucker. Cedric Gray and Power Eccles, the linebackers. Alijah Huzzie getting the start at star. We expected to be Marcus Allen and Tayon Holloway, the 2 youngsters. Allen, the sophomore, Holloway, the redshirt freshman at corner. Chapman and Biggers at safety. Ready to go, Liam Boyd kicks it away, and Pitt will have a chance for a return. Kenny Johnson, coming off the 2, is able to cross the 20, but not get to the 25-yard line. So Pitt is going to start deep in its own territory for possession number 1.
Yeah, I always like those quick starts where they actually get a return and usually kick the ball through the end zone, but it gets a little bit of those butterflies out there. Guys getting a fly around, making a good tackle there at the 22-yard line.
It'll be officially, as Joe told you, the 22, where Pitt will start off, moving from left to right. Ball is on the near hash here at Acrisure Stadium. So, Jurkovec is in the shotgun with Hammond standing to his right, and he will keep it on the ground on the first play, and not much doing. Hammond is able to push forward for 3 before Miles Murphy gets the stop for the Tar Heels. That'll bring up 2nd and 7.
Yeah, you're probably going to see a lot of that today, Jones. Hard runs up the middle, that tough physical football from Pittsburgh, and see if they can grind out 3 and 4 yards and put themselves in a third and manageable situation.
Just double-checking the Tar Heels out there. It does appear to be the starters we anticipated for Carolina defensively. Jurkovec's going to go under center for this 2nd and 7. Turn and hand to Hampton, and Cedric Gray pops him before he gets to the 30. It's a gain of 3, maybe 4, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down.
Yeah, big 3rd down early for the Heels right here. You have to kick off to him, defer into the second half. You'd love to be able to get a quick 3 and out and get the ball back right away.
It's going to be 3rd and somewhere between 2 and 3 yards needed here for the Panthers on the first drive of the ball game. Ball marked between the 28 and the 29-yard line. Jurkovec in the shotgun. He'll send a man in motion. Mumfield comes through. And Jurkovec's going to have his first pass of the day. Plenty of time to do so, and completes it to Mumfield for the first down. Don Chapman with the immediate tackle, but that moves the sticks. And, Joe, the big deal was plenty of time for Jurkovec there for the easy completion.
Yeah, plenty of time in the pocket right there. They ran a good concept, got 2 to clear, then hit the underneath guy on a 3rd and short. Easy pitch and catch for the first down.
That'll move it out to the 38-yard line, so a gain of around 9 on 3rd and 3. So Jurkovec completes the first pass. I can't tell you the amount of media scrutiny he's been under this week as he has really struggled here as of late. He's going to keep it himself on the read option. Big guy still running, crosses the 50 before multiple Tar Heels take him down. Des Evans finished this things up, but Jurkovec, and he's big at 6'5", 235, and can run. He pulled it away, wrapped around the right side, and advances it all the way to the Tar Heel 42-yard line. It's a gain of 20.
Yeah, did a really good job of hiding the fake there, which allowed Des Evans to crash down, not hold his contained position, then able to get on the outside and the edge.
12:30 and counting first quarters, the first possession of the ball game. Pitt has moved off its own 22 to the Tar Heel 42. Ball still on the near hash as they go from left to right. This time it will be a handoff to Hammond. Tar Heels get to him, but Hammond's still able to leap forward to around the 35-yard line. May have even gotten a little more than that. A good first down run of 7. Eventually, Kamen Rucker pushes him out.
Yeah, right now the Heels have a little hard time setting the edge. You got to be able to hold that outside leverage, set that edge, turn everything back inside where your help's at.
Already 43 yards on this drive for Pittsburgh, who come in averaging just 321 yards per game. That's 112th in the nation. Jurkovec in the shotgun, playbook open here on 2nd and 3. He'll keep it on the ground with Hammond. Tar Heels, I believe it was Hester, made a quick hit, but Hammond's still able to get close to, and yes, enough for the first down as he spins forward for 4 yards. And it will be a fresh set of downs for the Panthers. Moving now off the Tar Heel 31. Let's check in with Lee Pace, our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter.
Jones, happy to say so far the rain has sloughed off. No rain coming down right now. Not a whole lot of wind in here. A little bit coming from the west. So if Pitt going in its direction would have a little bit of wind behind it right now if it were to kick a field goal.
Tar Heels go big. Amari Gaynor checks in. Holloway leaves the field. It will be a jet sweep to the far side, and running hard for Pitt is Kenny Johnson. He took a hit around the 25 but kept his feet, and is going to get good yardage to the 22, a gain of 9. So Holloway went off. Huzzie moved from the nickel to corner, and the Tar Heels brought Amari Gaynor out there. So they had some big personnel out there. Pitt goes with the jet sweep, and they have another 2nd and short. Panthers moving with some efficiency down the field. 2nd and short, Jurkovec will be under center. First quarter. Play clock down to 6. Jurkovec turns and hands off. Tar Heels hit immediately in the backfield. Murphy, Gray, Rucker all finish up the tackle. It is not enough for the first down, even though it was 2nd and short, no gain. It'll bring up the 2nd, 3rd down of the drive for Pitt.
Yeah, great job by Power Eccles right there. He read that it was run up the middle, was able to blitz through the gap and stop it before it ever could get started.
So 3rd and about 1, maybe a little bit more. No gain on that play, maybe even a loss of a football length, but not much needed here for Pitt. Jurkovec's going to throw. Does so to the near side. Allen with the quick hit, but Mumfield makes the catch and advances enough for the first down. Little pick play there on the edge. Allen had to work around some traffic before he could go catch up to Mumfield. And Pitt's moved into the red zone to the 18-yard line, and Panthers now 2 of 2 on 3rd down.
Yeah, you can really tell a lot on a team's first drive. Pitt feels as if they have something on the edges, able to attack the edges and get themselves in 3rd down and then use their short passing game.
This is the 10th play of the drive for Pittsburgh. They've already gone 60 yards off their own 22 to the Tar Heel 18. Jurkovec going to swing a pass to the far side. Tar Heels trying to bottle it up. They eventually do get to Kenny Johnson after a gain of a couple. Johnson advances to the 15. He'll gain 3 on the play, bring up 2nd and 7. Don Chapman with the tackle for the Heels.
Yeah, good job by the Heels right there. They're able to pursue to the outside on a quick bubble screen. Put them on the ground. Only a 3-yard pickup. Now you start getting in the red zone. This is when you got to tighten it up.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Tar Heels have had some trouble here defensively on this first drive. Pitt keeping them guessing, but the field's starting to get condensed. 2nd and 7, it will be a run. Hammond pushes the pile to the 10. Nice run there as he was hit after just maybe 2, but falls forward for 5 in total. And it will bring up a third down, but 3rd and 2 for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, this drive right here is exactly what Pitt wanted to draw.
I mean, it's only been 7 minutes, Joe.
Yeah, third down converts, puts them in 3rd and shorts. Heels got to make a big stop right here on 3rd down in the red zone.
So Pitt 2 of 2 on 3rd down. They've held the ball for more than 7 minutes on this initial drive. They've advanced to the Tar Heel 10. This is a 3rd and 2. Ball on the far hash as Pitt goes left to right. Jurkovec is going to throw. Rolls to the near side. Quick throw is caught by Mumfield. He's knocked out by Holloway, but enough for the first down as Mumfield gains 3. They needed 2, and the drive continues. Pitt 3 of 3 on 3rd down. As Joe alluded to, this would be the exact way the Panthers wanted to start this game. Carolina has not had the football yet, and the first quarter clock is at 7:13 and counting.
And you can see exactly what they're trying to do. Attack the edges and then throw the ball on the outside on 3rd and short.
13th play of the drive. Comes off the Tar Heel 7. Hammond pops it to the outside on the left, and he will score. Pitt marches down the field with ease. And with 6:56 to go in the first quarter, they have an early advantage. Hammond has been banged up some. He's really been sharing the carries with Sibo Flemister, a Notre Dame transfer, but Pat Narduzzi said that ended today, that he wanted Hammond to be the feature back. And Hammond gains 30 yards rushing on the initial drive and scores the touchdown. Pitt did not score a touchdown the entire game against West Virginia. Extra point is up and in, so the Panthers could not have drawn it up any better. 13 plays, 78 yards, 7 minutes and 59 seconds off the clock. And the Tar Heels allow the touchdown. It is the longest drive allowed by the Tar Heels yardage-wise this season. For Pitt, it is not the longest, but one of their best, as they lead at 7-0. 6:56 to go first quarter from Learfield. A reminder that in postgame we'll have the Old Dominion Best in the Game feature brought to you by Old Dominion Freight Line. That's our player of the game. Old Dominion Freight Line works hard to be the best in the game and is proud to support those striving to be the best in theirs. Jones Angel, Joe Yock here with you from Pittsburgh. Lee Pace, our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter. Joe, 78 yards for Pitt on that opening drive, 62 of them rushing, 5 first downs, 3 for 3 on 3rd down. Took nearly 8 minutes off the clock, and actually more than 8 minutes off the clock. That was not what the Tar Heel defense was looking for.
No, not whatsoever. But, you look at what Pitt's doing on those first drives. The first drive in offense, you can tell a lot of times what the clarity of the game plan is. And you look at Pitt, inside runs, and then they found something on attacking the edges on each side. And then when you put them in a 3rd and short situation, a lot of times you felt as if they could run the ball for the first down. No, they tried to go with the short passes underneath. So they know exactly what to do game plan-wise. Now it's up to the Tar Heel defense to adjust.
That's the first time all year that Pitt has a touchdown on its opening drive. It will have a touchback on the kickoff as it sails over the head of George Pettaway. Tar Heels starters will have Drake Maye, of course, at the quarterback spot. We expect to see a lot of Omarion Hampton and British Brooks at the running back position. Paysour, J.J. Jones, and Nate McCollum, the receivers. All 3 of the tight ends, Morales, Nesbitt, and Copenhaver, will see action. The offensive line from left to right, Diego Pounds, Ed Montelis, Corey Gaynor, William Barnes, Spencer Rolland. Again, we do not expect to see, in fact, we know we're not going to see Willie Lampkin today for the Tar Heels at one of those guard spots. So Tar Heels moving from right to left. They're starting on their own 25-yard line and will throw on first down. Maye in a pocket is hit and loses the football. Pitt out of there with it. The Panthers are going to have first down in the Tar Heel red zone as Maye is sacked and fumbles on the first play of the ball game.
I think his arm may have been moving forward on this one.
Willie on the field with a fumble. Recovered by the defense. First down, Pittsburgh.
Maye had time to throw and then stepped up, and he was trying, as he was being hit, he tried to throw it away. And we'll have to see. Deion Hayes is the man who made the contact, and they are going to review this.
The ruling on the previous play of a fumble recovered by the defense is under further review.
So
timeout.
Immediately, they'll go under the hood, presented by the Honda dealers of the Carolinas. Take your Tar Heel tailgate to the next level with a new Honda. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today. Deion Hayes had contact with Maye, who tried to throw it away. We'll take a timeout while they take a look at this replay. It's a big one early. Heels down 7-0. Will Pitt get the football in the red zone, or will the Tar Heels have it 2nd and 10? We'll find out after this from Learfield.
We're on the road with Honda dealers of the Carolinas. Honda is the most fuel-efficient, full-line automaker in America. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today. You're listening to Tar Heel Football.
6:44 to go, first quarter, 7-0 Pittsburgh. They overturned the fumble decision during that timeout. So it is an incomplete pass. So no forced fumble by Deion Hayes, no recovered fumble by Shane Simon. Instead, it is 2nd and 10 for the Tar Heels. So front four for Pitt: Deion Hayes, DeAndre Jules, David Green, and Bam Brema, Solomon DeShields, Shane Simon, Kyle Lewis, the three linebackers, Marquez Williams, MJ Devonshire, the corners, Donovan McMillan, Javon McIntyre are the safeties. So the Heels, it was the correct call, but get the break there early. Maye throwing, and it slips through the hands of his intended receiver. That was Paysour, who was open and had it in his hands at the 31 at the numbers near side, but incomplete, and Carolina quickly facing a 3rd and 10. Tar Heels have already gotten up to the line of scrimmage. Pitt showing heavy pressure. Bail out of it. Is Maye ready to throw? Open receiver, and a flag comes in as McCollum was interfered with in the middle of the field.
Yeah, that was the right call right there. He definitely was interfered on a little dig route over the middle on 3rd and 10. Ran into him well before the ball got there.
So the Pitt defender, Philip O'Brien Jr.
Pass interference. Defense. The ball replaced at the spot of the foul with an automatic first down.
Philip O'Brien Jr., after McCollum had some space, O'Brien Jr. just got there too early. Knocked McCollum down almost. And that'll move the ball out to the 39-yard line. So Tar Heels end up getting 14 yards on the penalty. They don't have a positive yard of offense yet. Now at least they have a little bit as Hampton gets the run right side. He crosses the 40 to the 41. It will be a gain of 2. That's the first run the Tar Heels have attempted in this game. It'll bring up 2nd and 8. 7-0 Pitt. Panthers went 13 plays, 8 minutes off the clock to take a 7-0 lead. This is the first possession for Carolina, and the first quarter clock's already at 6:21 and moving. 2nd and 8. Nesbitt comes in motion from right to left. Maye will hand off to Hampton again, right side. A flag comes in as Hampton only gets a yard. And we'll have to see. I think Pitt may have been offside.
Offside. Defense, number 0. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's DeAndre Jules. Pitt enters this game averaging 7 penalties per game for about 54 yards. Had a couple big ones early.
Yeah.
The pass interference, and now that one makes it 2nd and 3 instead of 3rd and 7. The ball moves to the Tar Heel 46-yard line. So 2nd and 3. Maye in the shotgun with Hampton to his left. He will fake the handoff to him and is smothered. Well, Drake able to at least keep his feet for a second, get a couple yards back, but he didn't have much chance on that one. It will be a sack in 3rd down.
Yeah, that's what Carolina's offense has. The offensive line has to do, pick up the pressures.
Carolina moving really quickly. They're ready to snap it on 3rd and 6. Maye dances out of the pocket, right side, has the first down as he crosses midfield and gets to the Panther 46-yard line. A gain of 11 on the scramble.
Yeah, you're really starting to feel, though, Jones, the vibe of the offensive line is that they're having a hard time picking up these multiple pressures.
Tar Heels continue to play with pace. Maye pulls the ball away, dumps it off left side. Here comes Copenhaver. He's upended as he goes over the 35-yard line. Good to see Copenhaver has that right hand unwrapped as there's a Pitt player down. Remember, Copenhaver played well against South Carolina, had that huge wrap on his right hand against Appalachian, a smaller wrap last week. He feels like he has full motion back this week, and he makes the catch for a gain of 13 and a first down. There's the Pitt player shaken up, so action will take a break, and we'll head to commercial. Tar Heels down 7-0, but they have it at the Pitt 33 when we return from Learfield. Seven 7-0 Pittsburgh, 5:04 to go in the first quarter. Tar Heels have it 1st and 10 on the Pitt 33. The injured Panther was David Green. He did walk off after being attended to by the Pitt medical staff. When you're out of town and want to keep up with live college sports, be sure to download the new Varsity Network app, available for both Apple and Android. Listen to college sports live with the Varsity Network app. And, Joe, it was Copenhaver who gets the 13-yard catch, but you noticed the Tar Heel receiver helped him out.
Yeah, Nate McCollum did a great job. It was a very short pass to the flat, but Nate McCollum able to seal the edge for him, allowed Copenhaver to get down the sidelines and pick up a good extra 10 yards.
All right, Tar Heels have it on the near hash as they go right to left. 5:04 to go in the first quarter. It is 7-0 Pitt. It's the first possession of the game for the Tar Heels. A couple of Pitt penalties, a pass interference on 3rd down and an offside has helped Carolina move it down the field. Let's see if the Heels can get a little bit of a rhythm here as Maye, ready to throw a long one to the right sideline, is caught by J.J. Jones. He is pushed out of bounds right around the 15-yard line. That was a long throw by Maye from the left hash to the right sideline, and it was on the money.
Much better settled by the offensive line. They brought a free safety blitz and picked it up.
18-yard gain. Maye again pulls it away from the running back Brooks, dumps it off in the flat left side. Morales runs over one tackler, two tacklers, battling himself inside the 5. What a physical run by Morales after the catch. Has a 1st and goal for the Heels.
Yeah, this drive's got response written all over it. Pitt comes down, scores a touchdown. The Heels now deep inside their territory.
Ball at the 3-yard line. Maye hands off to British Brooks, and he's tripped up for a minimal gain. They got at least back to the line of scrimmage. Let's just say no gain on the play.
Yeah, I got a feeling it's going to be tough sledding in the red zone inside the tackles against this Pitt defense.
3:58 and counting first quarter. Pitt 7, Carolina nothing, but the Tar Heels have it 2nd and goal on the Panther 3. Ed Montelis is still down on one knee. He just now stands up. The officials are going to blow the action dead. And that guard spot is a trouble spot for the Tar Heels right now. Willie Lampkin not available today. Ed Montelis and William Barnes getting the start. If you have to go to a sub, it's likely Jonathan Adorno, the senior from Raleigh, who'll have a birthday tomorrow. Malik McGowan, the junior from Charlotte, could be in the mix as a eventual reserve as well. So we'll have to see how the Tar Heels manage a little bit of a thin middle of their offensive line. They're desperately going to need that bye week to get the middle of that line healed up. And it's going to be Adorno who comes in to play left guard for Carolina for this 2nd and goal snap. Hampton has checked in. He'll be the running back to Maye's right. Heels going toward the students, which are full here in Pittsburgh. Handoff to Hampton. Bounces off a Panther and bounces in to the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina. Tar Heels within a point.
There we go. Hampton presses it right up the middle, shows patience in the run, even down in the red zone near the goal line, able to bounce to the outside and find that little gap to step in the end zone. Great response by the Tar Heels on that drive.
10 plays, 75 yards, 318. Hampton already his 7th rushing touchdown of the season. He came in leading the ACC and 2nd in the nation in touchdowns scored. Burnett to try and tie the game with the extra point. Had some pressure off the edge, but he boots it through. Remember, Ryan Coe injured, the starter at the beginning of the year for the Tar Heels at the kicker position. So Burnett, who was the starter last year, is taking over at that spot now. So 7-7. Let's check in with Lee, our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter.
The trainers have taken Ed Monolith into the portable training or medical tent right now. So limping on that left side, that was why he missed the Appalachian State game. He's got a lot of tape on both those. And Jones, not a good omen for the defense to stand behind the defensive backfield, the secondary, and see that Don Chapman and Geo Biggers, their back of their jerseys were covered with grass stains after one drive. So you don't want your backfield to have grass stains on their backs after one drive. So they got to toughen up and gird up against this good Pitt offense in the next drive.
Yeah, Tar Heels fully expected to play 4 safeties, Chapman, Biggers, Stick Lane, and Will Hardy tonight. We'll see if a couple of the reserves are in this next possession. So this is just the third possession of the quarter. Pitt goes 78 yards in 7:59. Tar Heels go 75 yards in 3:18. And the game is tied at 7 apiece. Liam Boyd with the kickoff. It will be a touchback. Boyd, his second game, taking over the kickoff duties, the walk-on transfer from Clemson. 2/3 of his kickoffs a week ago were touchbacks. So far, 1 of 2 tonight. So Pitt starts on its own 25. And, Joe, Tar Heel defense just got to be better than it was on that first drive.
Yeah, you got to turn the page. That first drive didn't go as you wanted it to. They score a touchdown. Hey, you knock the cobwebs out, get things loosened up, make some adjustments, protect your edges. Hopefully get a stop right here.
Couple of reserves. Stick Lane, the Georgia State transfer. Real name's Antavius. Goes by Stick for Hit Stick.
That's a great name.
And Travis Shaw, the young sophomore from Greensboro. Both those gentlemen in the game defensively for the Tar Heels. As Jurkovec going to pull and keep it himself, stretching to the near side. But I tell you what, the Tar Heels have felt like played that pretty well, but he's still going to get about 8 yards on the play. Gray, Lane, Evans, all in the mix. But Jurkovec just able to get plenty of space once he got to the right side of his offensive line, and it will be 2nd and 8 on the 8-yard run. Again, he is a big dude, 6'5", 235.
Yeah, once again, they know exactly where they want to attack. They feel as if they can attack the edges. The Heels defensive ends, outside linebackers have to do a better job of setting that edge and forcing things back inside.
Pitt is huddling between plays to try and take as much time as possible. 7-7 the score. Less than 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Handoff is stuffed pretty quickly, but it's going to be enough for the first down as Hammond gets about 2.5, maybe 3, and it will advance to the 36 for a first down. Let's check in again with Lee.
Ed Monolith comes out of the trainer's tent, walking pretty well. He's got some more tape on his right ankle, but not limping, not favoring it in any way, so it looks like he may be able to come back in.
So first down Pitt, already their 6th of the ball game in just a possession plus a couple of plays. 2:20 and counting first quarter. Jurkovec going to hit a screen to the far side, and this time the Tar Heels sniff it out. Nice play by Eccles and Evans to quickly take down the Pitt receiver, which was Mumfield, for no gain.
And that's exactly what the Heels, that very well scouted, knew exactly in their preparation, saw that quick screen, able to get out there quickly. Short gain, this is what they need to do. Win on first down.
Yeah, that's a good point. Pitt's been getting some good yardage on first down. This will be 2nd and a generous 9. It's probably more like 10, but we'll call it 9 for Pitt. Jurkovec, a straight drop back. He's going to set up another screen. Tar Heels can't make the tackle on the first couple of drives. And eventually Stick Lane and Des Evans able to take down the Pitt receiver, but Hammond able to spin his way forward for the first down. Carolina had chances early, including Travis Shaw, to try and take down Hammond, but couldn't do it. He advances to the 46.
Yeah, Tayon Holloway had a shot at and read the screen right away and had a chance to come up and make the tackle near the line of scrimmage, but he's able to escape and pick up the first down.
So 9 yards and a first down. 1 minute to go first quarter. Still 7-7, third possession of the quarter. Second time Pitt's had the football. And Hammond somehow gets through the line of scrimmage into the Tar Heel secondary and into Tar Heel territory to the 31. Tayon Holloway with the stop. But it's a 23-yard gain.
Yeah, Pitt O-line's doing a really good job of getting hat on hat, staying on their blocks, moving people and creating holes. We got to be able to recognize, get off blocks, and stop it before it ever gets started.
Already 55 yards rushing for Hammond, and Pitt in total has 96 yards on the ground here in the first quarter, 122 yards of total offense. Panthers quickly break that huddle. Jurkovec's going to try a rollout and want a deep ball. His tight end Bartholomew is wide open and makes the grab, falling out of bounds at the 1. Stick Lane was trying to recover, but couldn't get there in time. The ball was thrown. Had it been a better throw, I think it's a touchdown. It was a great adjustment by Bartholomew to make the grab. They'll say officially out of bounds at the 2. And that's where Pitt will have it first and goal after the 29. Well, now they moved it to the 1. So it's a 30-yard gain. And Pitt has a first and goal from the 1. That'll be the first play of the second quarter. Panthers do exactly what they want to do in quarter number 1. A team that had been averaging 321 yards of offense and last week had 6 points total. Has 151 yards, a touchdown on the board, and 1 yard away from another. 7-7 the score from Learfield. SeatGeek is now the official ticket marketplace of Carolina Athletics. Whether you're buying or selling football tickets, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek, so Tar Heel fans can fan. Keep kind of moving this ball between the 1 and the 2 yard line. It doesn't change the fact that Pitt's on the doorstep with a first and goal. This drive, 6 plays, 73 yards. Let's take a look at the stats from the first quarter presented by Lenovo, global technology leader that has called North Carolina home since 2005. Lenovo.com. Lenovo, smarter technology for all. Pitt, 151 yards of offense, including 96 on the ground, 55 in the air. Jurkovec, who had completed 35% of his passes in the last 2 games, is 6 of 6 for 55 yards. And he has his team on the doorstep of taking the lead back. It's 7-7. Each team scored a touchdown on its only possession. But now Pitt trying to make it 2 for 2. They have moved this ball to the 1. And a little inside handoff and a touchdown. Daniel Carter, who was set up at the fullback position, got the quick handoff and pushes in for the 1 yard score. And Pitt now 2 for 2 on drives that have ended in touchdowns, and Carolina has not been able to put up much resistance at all thus far.
Yeah, they're doing what they want right now, being able to run the ball up the middle there for a long run, and then out of that long run, go quick, bunch formation, hit the tight end down to the 1, and then just bully it in from the 1 yard line.
Daniel Carter, his second touchdown of the season. He actually started the Wofford game at the running back spot. As awaiting Ben Saul's PAT, it is good, and it's 14-7. Pitt has the lead. Tar Heels due to get the football. The touchdown comes just 5 seconds into the second quarter. Caps off the 7-play, 75-yard drive in 3 minutes and 43 seconds. So Pitt has run 20 total plays to just 10 for Carolina. The Panthers have had the ball 11 minutes and 47 seconds. Heels have had it 3:18. Pitt has 153 yards of offense. Carolina has 56. Now, again, this is only the second time Tar Heels going to have the football. That's not the issue. It's that Carolina has not been able to stop Pitt in any way to this point. Panthers are averaging nearly 8 yards per play. Did not face a third down on that drive.
Yeah, this is the recipe that Pitt wants to do. So the Carolina defense is going to have to step up and get a quick stop, because when you start getting that run play count up, it really takes a lot of wear and tear on a defense as the game goes on.
It's the first time Carolina's allowed touchdowns on its first 2 possessions defensively since the App State game last year. We remember what kind of shootout that was last season in Boone. Don't think we're in for 63-61 tonight, but I guess we'll find out. Carolina is going to they'll take a knee. Pettaway did field the kickoff a yard or two into the end zone. Looked like he
thought about it.
He wanted.
He thought about it.
But he's going to take that knee, and the Tar Heels will take over at the 25. Let's check in with Lee Pace, our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter.
You may be able to hear Travis Shaw in the background. He is roaming up and down the defensive side of the ball, screaming, yelling, exhorting. Can't say exactly what he's saying, but opposite of Cedric Gray, who is just very solemn. He's got a couple of black X's of charcoal underneath his eyes. He's very grim, very angry right now. So a lot of emotion on this defensive sideline right now.
Tar Heels want to be better than what they've shown so far defensively. Montelis is back in at the guard spot. Tar Heels keep it on the ground with British Brooks on the first down run, and he gets just 2 up the middle. So it'll be 2nd and 8 for Carolina, who's moving from left to right in a quick incompletion as Maye trying to find his tight end Copenhaver. And just like that, the Tar Heels are facing a 3rd and 8, down 14-7, wobbling a little bit here in the first half in Pittsburgh. And it's very early, but, boy, this would be a nice 3rd down to convert. Just the second one the Heels have seen tonight.
Yeah, Drake just tried to do a little shot out in the flat to Copenhaver and just overthrew it by a bet.
Nesbitt comes in motion from right and stops as a wing on the left side of the line. Pitt showing pressure. Maye drops back to throw. Clean pocket. A lot of time to throw. Now he runs out of time, and he's dragged down back at the 20. Couple of different Panthers, Devin Danielson and Tyler Bentley there. That had to be a coverage sack. Maye had all day to throw and could never pull the trigger.
Yeah, 100%. They tried to bring pressure. The Heels offensive line picked it up very well with the running back, but the coverage just so good downfield that Drake had nowhere to go with the football.
So the Tar Heels lose 7 on the sack and go 3 and out. And Pitt, which has done exactly what it wants to do offensively, is going to get the football back. Kiernan for what will be just his 7th punt of the season. Ready to kick it away. Flag comes in as Kiernan boots it away. It hits at the 35. Fielded at the 30. Dangerous as another flag comes in. Fielded by MJ Devonshire. I think the second flag's going to be an illegal block on Pittsburgh. Not sure about the first flag that came in right when the ball was snapped.
Yeah, just a mental error. I think it's probably going to be a legal formation on the Heels.
Let's wait and see. Stuart Mullins, the referee. It is an illegal formation on Carolina and then a block in the back on Pitt. We're going to do this again.
Yeah, that's just a mental mistake. A really good punt. Had him trapped down to, ball was on roughly the 27-yard line, coming out of your own end zone and blocking the back.
Still waiting.
There are 2 fouls on the play, 1 by each team. Illegal shift, kicking team. During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 10, receiving team. The foul's offset. Replay, 4th down.
So as Joe alluded to, that ends up nullifying a pretty good punt.
You would have also had the block in the back penalty without the illegal shift. Would have put the ball back at the 17-yard line.
Yep, would have been.
So this could be big.
Good point. So Tar Heels have not been crisp here early on. Down just 14-7, but the scoreboard is not the biggest issue. It's still a tight game, of course. It's just the way this game has been played out so far. You feel like Pitt has done exactly what it wants, and the Tar Heels are trying to recover.
Yeah, on the good side of things, though, you just may have to be a situation where you got to survive for a while. Just survive for a while. Stay in the game, stick around, and things can turn pretty quickly.
Yeah, Mac Brown said he knew Pitt was going to come out and give his team the absolute best it had due to the struggles here as of late. Kiernan again rolls out and kicks it away. And another good one. Devonshire chasing it, picks it up on a couple of hops back at the 20. Now Devonshire heading down the right side, breaks 1 tackle, 2 tackles, and eventually is knocked down at around the 30. So even though Devonshire gives some excitement on the return, as far as the penalty situation, Pitt ends up gaining about 3 yards as it is due to the offsetting penalties on the first punt. They would have had it around the 27. Instead, they will start on the 30. 13-19 to go, second quarter. Panthers 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns, and they have it again after this with a 14-7 lead from Learfield.
All the action, all season long. You're listening to Tar Heel Football.
A 59-yard punt by Kiernan before the break. Official stats have Zion Fowler L, who also wears number 12, returning that. I'm pretty sure it was MJ Devonshire who returned it 10 yards to the 30-yard line. And that's where Pitt will start on its third possession, going from right to left here in the second quarter. Ball on the far hash. 13-19 to go before halftime. Panthers have had the ball twice, scored a touchdown on each drive, 153 yards of offense. Meanwhile, Carolina had a nice drive, aided by some penalties. 10-play drive that resulted in a touchdown, but then went 3 and out after that. Hammond in the pistol behind Jurkovec, who turns and hands off, and it will be about 2 yards, maybe 3, on the first down run for Hammond. We'll call it 2nd and 7. Tar Heels have adjusted personnel some. Armani Chapman, the Virginia Tech transfer, is in. Well, he was in, but now he's going to come out as Gaynor comes in. So Carolina again with some big personnel on the field. Only one true corner, Marcus Allen. Huzzie is out there too for the Tar Heels. Pitt with everybody tight to the line. Jurkovec rolls out to the right, dumps it off to Mumfield, and Carolina did a nice job reading that. Gaynor, first and foremost, was there to slow down Mumfield. Cowan came in to help finish off the play. But a nice job by Gaynor not getting fooled. And it's a gain of just 1 and a big, Joe, 3rd and 6. This is a big spot here.
Big down here. Great job by Amari Gaynor right there. Be able to read the bootleg, be able to go high on his angle, to be able to make the tackle with very little gain at all. Outstanding job by him. And now we got a big 3rd down right here where the Heels drastically need to stop.
Pitt 3 for 3 on 3rd down. They came in, Pitt did, converting at 41% on the season. Just 4 of 13 last week at West Virginia, but 3 for 3 here early in this one. And I think Pitt moved early. A flag came in as Jurkovec was dropping back to pass, but I think the left tackle moved early for Pitt.
Full start. Offense. There was no time when all the 11 players were set before the snap. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
So the penalty will make it now 3rd and 11. And just heightens that importance that we were talking about. Just don't feel like you can let Pitt get this one. You're only down 14-7. Want to get the ball back to Drake Maye in that offense here in the early moments of the second quarter. Yeah, 14-7, Joe, Pitt on top.
What I'd like to see Carolina do right here is just rush 4. You got to have that down 4 that can get pressure on the quarterback and be able to drop 7 and make a play here on 3rd down.
He'll show some pressure. They actually rushed just 3. Jurkovec scrambles out of the pocket, and he's just going to have to throw it away. He was being chased by Miles Murphy. And so Carolina gets pressure with just 3, even though they crowded the line, then dropped back and able to get pressure and force the quick 3 and out. So the false start penalty helped, but the Tar Heels with by far their best defensive effort of the night.
Yeah, that 3rd down right there, being able to rush 3 and still get pressure from the outside and drop 8. If you can do that, you can cover the entire field and force a quarterback to throw it away just like that.
Huzzie back to receive the punt of Caleb Junko. Junko's been really good, 48.5 yards per punt here early in the season.
Good night.
Gets a really good one away. Huzzie will have a chance for a return, and he's got a lot of space coming off the 20, coming to the near side. Huzzie at the 40. Huzzie is slowed down at midfield. Pitt wanted a block in the back during the return. No flags on the field. Huzzie gets 30 yards on the return, and the Tar Heels will start this drive at the 50.
Yeah, that was a classic case of he just out-punted his coverage right there, and a great job by Huzzie. The Heels had the wall set up to the right side, able to get the edge, and the fans were screaming and crying for for a block in the back, but it really wasn't. He's able to get his hands in front and did a good block to spring Huzzie down the sidelines.
So Tar Heels will take over right around midfield. In fact, the ball will be right on the 50. Tar Heels have it at midfield when we return. 14-7 Pitt, 11-10 to go, second quarter from Learfield. That 30-yard return by Alijah Huzzie, the first punt return of the season for the Tar Heels. It gets them out to the 50-yard line where they'll take over. Down 14-7, 11-10 to go, second quarter. Before this drive begins, let's break 10 seconds. Station ID down the lines on the Tar Heels Sports Network. Carolina ready to snap. 1st and 10 from midfield. Going left to right. Ball is on at the near hash. Tar Heels going to set up a reverse. Flip it back to Maye. Coming down the near sideline. Copenhaver brings it in. Tar Heels will have it 1st and goal inside the 10. Multiple flags down. Maye is shaken up on the back end of the play. He was hit hard after throwing the football. The hit by Dayon Hayes.
Roughing the passer. Defense number 50. Half the distance to the goal from the end of the play. First down.
Maye is up. Not sure he can. He's jogging down to play this snap. He might have to go out for a play at minimum. He will. And Connor Harrell, the redshirt freshman from Alabaster, Alabama, is going to come in. So the pass plus the penalty will have the ball. Should be right around the 4 or 5 yard line. Maye is to the sideline talking to Dr. Jeff Spang, Luke Ross, head trainer for the Tar Heels. Ball is at the 5. Yeah. So it's 1st and goal from the 5. What a huge spot for Harrell. The redshirt freshman comes in. He has the veteran British Brooks to his side. No surprise, he hands it off. Brooks powering forward, still churning, gets right to the lip of the cup, but it'll be 2nd and goal from less than a yard away. And now Maye, well, he was walking back out there, but he's now going to head back to the sideline. Tar Heels wanted to go quickly. Pitt has 1 million guys on the field, and as the Tar Heels snapped the ball, it got away from Harrell, but Pitt took a timeout.
Prior to snap. Timeout. Pittsburgh. Their first of the half.
And that was
32nd time.
That was a mess.
Oh.
Tar Heels were trying to play with pace, so Maye thought he was coming in, then he came off. Then Pitt was trying to sub. They had too many men on the field. The ball gets snapped away from Harrell, who was under center, but it got loose. It all ends up being absolutely nothing. Timeout Pitt, 2nd and goal coming for Carolina from the 1 yard line.
Yeah, that was wild. That was wild. Like you said, they were running Drake on to come back. Then he runs off. Pitt guy runs in. It was just a wild sequence, and thankfully Narduzzi ran out there and called timeout. But the play before that little trick play, that was a little bit stressful, Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nip and tuck there.
Yeah, it all happened.
Yeah.
The reverse and then
tight.
The pitch back to Maye. It all happened in a very small amount of space.
Bodies were flying everywhere.
And Dayon Hayes came at Maye. He's the one who picked up the penalty. Maye is back in, and he goes under center, hands off to Hampton, and he didn't get it. He didn't get anything, although he continues to push forward. The officials blow it dead, though, before the final.
Rolling on the field is at the runner's short of the goal line. 3rd and goal.
So it'll be 3rd and goal from, again, inside the 1. Tar Heels have it a football length inside the 1. Down 14-7, 9:54 and counting. In the second quarter, again, Maye comes up and goes under center. He'll hand off to the up man, Brooks. He tries to leap, and he's stuffed. 4th and goal from the 1.
Let's see what Mac's going to do here. Looks like there's no doubt.
Yeah, I'd be stunned if they don't go for it. Carolina's just 1 of 3 on 3rd down tonight. Well, obviously a huge spot here. Maye's going to go into the shotgun with Brooks to his left. 4th and goal. Maye rolling out to the far side. He's going to run it in for the touchdown. Boy, great blocking on the edge, including a final one from British Brooks that helped Maye go in untouched.
Yeah, great job right there. Like you said, Jones, able to get the edge. Had 2 receivers to the left out on a quick run. He's trying to get the ball to Kobe Paysour in the flat, but the defender went with him, so that allowed Drake just to walk easily into the end zone.
Brooks laid a huge block on Brandon George, a reserve linebacker who was in for Pitt.
We like huge blocks.
Yeah, he was going to be the last one who had a chance at Maye. I don't think he would have gotten there, but didn't matter. Brooks laid the block. Extra point by Burnett is through. So game tied now at 14. So the big punt return by Huzzie. Then the Tar Heels run the trick play to get into the red zone. Pitt stands tall, but the Tar Heels end up getting in there on 4th down to tie the ball game. 9:09 to go. My Tar Heels, everybody a little sore walking to the sideline. It's going to be physical.
Here we go.
9:09 to go, tied at 14 from Learfield. .09 to play second quarter, 14-14, and what has been a physical ball game thus far between the Tar Heels and Pitt. We appreciate you listening no matter how you're listening tonight. If you're at home watching on TV, want to sync up the broadcast while you watch at home, easy instructions on how to do so, syncmygame.com. That's SYNC, syncmygame.com. Tar Heels with 97 yards of offense, Pitt 157 so far. That drive for the Heels, 5 plays, 50 yards, 2:01 off the clock for Maye. The 1-yard touchdown run, his second rushing touchdown of the season, 9th of his Tar Heel career. These Carolina Pitt games have been tight ever since Pitt joined the ACC. This is the 10th meeting as ACC members. 8 of the previous 9 have been decided by 7 points or less. The only one that wasn't was last year when Carolina was down 24-14 and then closed the game on a 28-0 run. You normally hear that in basketball, of course, but closed 28-0 and won that one by 18 points. Kickoff will bounce 7 yards into the end zone. It'll be a touchback, and that's where Pitt will start its 4th drive of the half.
Yeah, you really feel, Jones, as if Carolina came out and took a couple haymaker punches from Pitt and has still been able to respond. That last defensive stop, getting that 3 and out, coming down, scoring the touchdown, tying the football game. Almost feels as if it's a fresh start for the Heels right now.
The penalties have hurt Pitt. 4 of them for 28 yards. They have a pass interference. They've had an offside defensively, a false start on 3rd down, and then, of course, that personal foul as Jurkovec trying to pull it and run, and he is hounded down by Cedric Gray. Ended up getting some help from Eccles and Biggers, but that was Gray sprinting from behind Jurkovec and taking him down for a short loss.
Yeah, great job by Gio Biggers stepping up right there, setting the edge, made him go horizontal towards the sideline, and then Cedric Gray just closes the gap and puts him on the ground.
That's a loss of 2, so it'll be 2nd and 12. 8:39 and counting in the second quarter, 14-14. Pitt with the ball going right to left. Ball's on the far hash at their own 23-yard line. Jurkovec in the shotgun, 4 receivers in the formation. Straight drop back is hit as he throws, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, great pressure up the middle. I believe that was Kamen Rucker.
It was.
Came right up the middle on a twist, coming back inside, getting pressed on Jurkovec right away. Can't step into his throw. 3rd and long again.
Jurkovec started 6 of 6 passing. He is one of his last 3. 3rd and 12. Pitt, 3 of 4 on 3rd down, Joe, but they failed on their last attempt of 3rd and long and have another 3rd and long here.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Gene Chizik does right here defensively. Last time on this 3rd and long, only brought 3 and was still able to get pressure. Probably see him do the same thing again.
Pitt, 3 receivers and a tight end in the formation. The tight end, big guy, Carter Johnson on the right side of the line. Hammond standing to the left. But it looked like somebody moved up front. No flags. Jurkovec in a heap of trouble. And down he goes. Rucker slings down Jurkovec inside the 5.
Outstanding defensive scheme right there. The Heels show pressure up the middle, run a zone blitz. Gainer pops out, leaves Rucker free off the edge. Sack down to the 1-yard line. Really good concept defensively there by Gene Chizik, then well executed by the Tar Heels defense.
I mean, that was a 21-yard loss on the sack. So back to the 2. So Junko backed up for this punt. Huzzie is standing on the Pitt 48 as Carolina brought some heat, but Junko able to get it away. Huzzie's going to have another chance at a return. Huzzie down the far sideline, cuts up at the numbers. He's at the 30. Huzzie may go. 15, 10, 5. Give him 6, baby. Touchdown, Carolina. The Tar Heels had not returned a punt all season. Huzzie has 2 of them today. A 30-yarder that set up a score, and he takes that one to the house.
What a great first step by Huzzie as he catches the ball. Never, rule number 1 on punting, never punt the ball down the middle of the field, and that's exactly what Pitt did. Huzzie takes 1 step upfield, makes a quick, decisive cut, and he's down the sidelines for a touchdown.
52-yard punt return touchdown for Huzzie. Makes it 20-14 at the 7:23 mark. First lead of the game for Carolina. Burnett trying to add the extra point, and he does. So 21-14. Tar Heels take the lead, and Lee Pace, I have to imagine that's a happy Tar Heels sideline.
It absolutely is, Jones, and this was a rabid and intense Pittsburgh crowd to begin the game. They were making a difference early on. They were really out for blood as the Panthers were, but after that last sack on field, Jurkovec, some boos started to pop up, and now they're all pretty much silent, on their toes, and the only noise in the stadium now is coming from the Carolina bench and a small smattering of Carolina fans over in the east end zone.
Last punt return for a touchdown for Carolina was Daz Newsome against Syracuse back in 2018. So that's the first time in Mac Brown's second tenure as Tar Heel head coach that Carolina scores a touchdown on a punt return. Again, it comes at 7:23 of the second quarter. Huzzie from 52 yards away.
Old Ryan Switzer did a little work on the field, didn't he?
He actually had 2 in a game at Pittsburgh in 2013. He had a 65-yarder and a 61-yarder that day against the Panthers. That was the first game Carolina and Pitt played as ACC members. I tell you, Switzer always killed Pitt. He was from this area.
He loved it.
He loved playing the Panthers. So, Pitt 3 and out on back-to-back possessions after scoring touchdowns on each of their first 2, and that'll be another touchback. I had a chance to talk to Alijah Huzzie this week, and, of course, transfer from East Tennessee State. Huzzie he's one of those guys, I mean, doesn't have the measurables that a lot of people are looking for coming out of high school, but, man, he just knows how to play football. He said he was the quarterback, he was the kicker, he played some wide receiver and DB. I mean, he played everywhere for his high school team there in LaGrange, Georgia. So he's just a guy, Joe, I'd say he knows ball.
Yeah,
that's what Huzzie does, man.
Some guys, you just roll that ball out, throw it in the backyard, and say, let's ball, and he's one of them. We like those guys. 2
big punt returns in this one for Huzzie. So now it's 21-14. Pitt's offense trying to respond, and they'll start on the ground with Hammond, and the Tar Heels do a nice job. First contact was Eccles. He slowed him up, and then Gray and Gainer finished it up. So, they will give him a yard on the run, and it's 2nd and 9.
Power does a really good job of showing patience. He doesn't just stick his nose up in there. He shows patience, and he overhangs, able to fill the hole and make the tackle right away.
Tar Heels have Will Hardy in at the safety spot. That front 4 is Evans, Murphy, Shaw, and Rucker up there for Carolina. Pitt play action. Jurkovec with Evans in his face. His throw is caught at the 46-yard line by Mumfield. But Evans applied pressure. Allen was just a little late on his coverage. And nice pitch and catch there from Jurkovec with pressure in his face.
Yeah, great pressure by Des Evans. But you got to give Jurkovec credit. With Des Evans, a very large human being in his face, he was able to deliver the football deep downfield.
That's a gain of 21 to the 47 of Pitt. And with 6:14 and counting second quarter, Tar Heels lead 21-14. But Pittsburgh, with the big play, had some momentum and the ball near midfield. Jurkovec under center is going to play action again. Pressure coming. Boy, he's crushed as he throws, but the ball is caught. Bartholomew, the tight end, with a terrific catch right before Hardy got there to break it up. It is going to be first down Pitt at the Tar Heel 25-yard line.
Yeah, Will Hardy came off the hash right there and had a chance to make the play on the ball, but a really nice throw and catch by the Panthers.
So passes back-to-back of 21 and 29 yards. Have the ball at the Tar Heel 24 for Pitt. I tell you, Bartholomew is a problem. He is a really good player, probably Pitt's best offensive player to this point of the season, and he has a couple of big catches today. Jurkovec under center. This time he'll keep it on the ground with Hammond, and not much doing left side, maybe a yard or two on the play. It'll be second down. Tar Heels due to get the football to start the second half. They lead it by the score of 21-14. Gain of 2 on that run. Make it 2nd and 8 at the Tar Heel 22.
Yeah, you see that Pitt's completed 2 long passes down the field, but the good news is Jurkovec on both of those throws has faced a ton of pressure.
Yeah, he got hit. Evans and Rucker on back-to-back plays, and again, give Jurkovec credit. He stood in there and completed with some pressure in his face. He will throw it again out of the shotgun. Has time to do so. Boy, a wobbly throw to Hammond in the flat, and that's going to lose some yardage as Eccles there to take down Hammond back over the 25. That'll lose about 4 yards. That throw looked odd coming out of Jurkovec's hands.
Yeah, a really good job by Power Eccles. He read the screen right away.
Pitt huddling up. It is 3rd and 12. Carolina has 3 timeouts. Pitt has 2. The clock's still not a big enough factor yet to use those timeouts. It's at 4:01 and counting right now. So a big third down here. Pitt 3 of 5 on third down. They have failed on 3rd and longs on each of their last 2 possessions. Another one facing them here. And now a timeout is called as the play clock was getting low, and Pitt takes a timeout to avoid the delay of game. They'll have 1 left for the final 3:47. So Pitt led this game 7-0 and 14-7 with touchdowns on each of their first 2 drives. Tar Heels scored on their first drive, then had to punt. Since then, the Tar Heels had forced back-to-back 3-and-outs, had a 5-play drive that resulted in a touchdown, got great starting field position on a 30-yard punt return by Huzzie to midfield. Then Huzzie takes back a punt 52 yards for a touchdown, first time since 2018 that Carolina has run a punt back for a score. So the Heels have been down 7 a couple of times. They now lead it by 7, 21-14, 3:47 to go in the first half. Pitt facing a 3rd and 12 on its own 26, going right to left, ball's on the near hash. Pitt's kicker, Ben Sauls, very good, 3 for 4 this year, but 23 of 28 in his career. That's better than 82%. Jurkovec will go under center. Has Flemister, the Notre Dame transfer, behind him. He'll play action. Pressure in his face. The throw is knocked away. Guess who? Alijah Huzzie breaks it up, and Pitt's going to have to try a field goal. Huzzie's been doing it in the punt return game. Slaps it away from Mumfield there.
Yeah, real nice play by Huzzie, but once again, great pressure up the middle. Jurkovec has a man in his face, but still throws a good ball, but Huzzie just makes a better play on it.
So this will be a field goal attempt from about 44 yards off the left hash. Sauls in his career 8 of 10 from between 40 and 49 yards. This would be a season long if he makes it. Snap back, spot down, it is up, and it looks like it is right down the center. So nice kick there by Sauls. He's a good one. The redshirt junior from Trip City, Ohio, boots it through to make it 21-17. So those back-to-back long throws of 21 and then 29 yards moves Pitt down the field. Tar Heel defense forces the field goal to keep the lead. They'll have an opportunity with 3:38 to go before the half. Back with those final 3 minutes and 38 seconds of half number 1. Heels up 4 from Learfield. At North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard here in Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh reads Tar Heels 21, Panthers 17, 3:38 to go before halftime. Tar Heels, who are due to get the ball to start the second half, will be receiving the kickoff from Pitt. Carolina up 4. Remember, there was the big sack earlier in the half by Rucker. That's a sack to give back. Food Lion Feeds donated 1,000 meals to feed our neighbors in need right here in Chapel Hill. Food Lion, proud to partner with Carolina football, will donate up to 30,000 meals to the local food bank this season. So let's cheer on sacks to give back all season long. For Rucker, that was his 3rd sack of the year. He also had 2 in the game against South Carolina, of course. He came in tied for 6th in the ACC in sacks. The Butcher. That's right. He has embraced it, and he plays like it. Kickoff. Oh, a short angling kick. That's an odd kick. It'll be a chance for a return by Petaway, who doesn't get many. Petaway hit at the 20, and that's where he stopped. Boy, bodies continue to be slammed into, and there comes some flags. I mean, each team continued to hit one another as the play ended. So we'll have to see. Boy, this would be a silly penalty if it ends up on Carolina, because that would push the Heels way back. Instead of starting on their 20, it'd be back around the 10. But let's see. Both teams were involved. Carolina has not been penalized tonight.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 21. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
So that hurts. It's the freshman Caleb Cost who picks up the block in the back. So that's going to move it back to the 10-yard line. Tar Heels, their worst starting field position of the night. Let's check in with our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter, Lee Pace.
Jones Drake Maye looks no worse for the wear after getting shaken up on that last drive. He was moving around, throwing the ball with authority to his teammates during that last timeout, so I think he's fine, and he has taken the field with the offense here at the end of the first half.
The last drive happened a while ago because of the punt return touchdown by Huzzie. That meant back-to-back possessions by Pitt. Tar Heels starting deep in their own territory. So actually be on the 9-yard line where Maye's going to take the snap. And he's in trouble, and down he goes. He is sacked at around the 1. And right now, Joe, as the sack made by Samuel Okenlola, a redshirt freshman, you have to assume that a lot of these are trouble from the receivers, because Maye has time to throw initially and then is running out.
Yeah, they brought a safety blitz right there, and then Heels actually did a decent job of picking it up. But in that situation, Drake knows that the safety blitz has come. If nobody's open, just needs to throw it away.
Loudest portion of the stadium is the north end zone where Carolina is snapping it from. Tar Heels hand off to British Brooks. Flags come in. Brooks is able to move it towards the 10.
Free play.
I think Pitt was offside. They were trying to time a blitz from the secondary. And I believe they crossed the line of scrimmage. Well, the officials are talking about it. Now a Pitt player just sits down, Javon McIntyre. I think he was trying to say he was injured, so Carolina couldn't go fast, but then everybody realized the referees were talking about the flag. So he just gets up and walks off.
Substitution. 12 players on defense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
So it was not an offside. It was too many men on the field. So that'll move the ball to the 7. Brooks had gotten out to about the 9, but the Tar Heels want to keep the down. But it will be 2nd and 12.
Yeah, big point in the game right here. Tar Heels need to get out of this hole after that sack.
21-17 Carolina. Tar Heels due to get the ball to start the second half, but have their backs up against their own end zone right now. Clock does start running. It's at 2:43 and counting. Maye is going to throw. Dumps it off to Hampton in the flat near side. Hampton has a good block and has the first down. He's still moving down the sideline. Gets hit hard out of bounds as a late flag comes in. Donovan McMillan, the man who made the tackle on Hampton. And he may get charged for a personal foul here. Hampton advanced it for a first down. to the 25, maybe the 26-yard line, but let's see on the flag.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 3, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So that is likely some kind of taunting or something along that line. So no illegal hit necessarily. It was a great, McMillan got up and stood over Hampton, and the Florida transfer had something to say to him. Was it egregious? Probably not, but the Tar Heels will happily take the 15 yards and now have it at the 41.
I really like that play. Horizontal swing pass to Hampton and create a wall.
Tar Heels now with some space to work. Maye, long time to throw. Oh, a dart caught at the 40 of the Panthers by J.J. Jones. He advances near the Pitt 30. That was a big-time throw by Maye.
Yeah, that was, like you said, you couldn't have said any better, Jones. That was an absolute dart delivered on a line.
Gain of 29 on the play. Heels moving fast. Maye going to pull it and run. Steps through the first tackle, but can't get through the second. He gains just a couple. Nick Lappy, a redshirt sophomore, makes the stop. So we're at 2 minutes to go, first half. Tar Heels 21, Pitt 17. 2nd and 8 from the Panther 28. Tar Heels moving left to right, ball on the far hash. Carolina was pinned back deep, but a big play to Hampton on a pass plus a penalty, and then a huge throw from Maye to J.J. Jones. Maye play action, pressure coming, gets out of trouble. Maye on the move at the 15, slides down near the 10. Started that slide around the 12, but it's enough for the first down. Boy, Maye, you just cannot overestimate his ability to run. They're going to say that slide started at the 14, so it's a gain of 14. And Carolina will quickly run it with Hampton. He bursts over the 10 to the 7, maybe the 8. And Pitt has a man down. Clock stops with, it's still running.
For an injured defensive player.
The injured player's David Green. He was shaken up
Please reset
earlier.
the game clock to 1:15.
Yeah, they are going to put some time left or some time back on the clock. The ball is in between the 7 and the 8. Let's call it the 8-yard line and say that the Tar Heels have a 2nd and 4.
I'll tell you what, Jones, it's the little things that make the difference. When you look at that last play where Drake was able to scramble for that first down, Spencer Rowland, the right tackle, just forces the defensive end out far enough where he has to run the loop a little bit wide, which allowed Drake to step in the pocket, see that opening, and then run for that first down.
Now, Rollins really taking some steps forward this year in his second year at Carolina. Of course, the transfer from Harvard. Tar Heels have just 29 yards rushing. Of course, sacks play into that, remember, at the college level. Maye is actually the leading rusher with 14 yards. Just 10 for Hampton and 5 for Brooks. Carolina in total doesn't have a ton of offense, 161 yards. Of course, he had a 52-yard punt return touchdown and a long punt return that set up a shorter field where Carolina had just 50 yards in front of them. Green is up and walking slowly to the sideline. So, 1:15 to go. 2nd and about 4 for the Tar Heels off the Pitt 8. They lead it, the Tar Heels do, 21-17 after trailing by 7 a couple of times early, 7-0 and 14-7.
Yeah, really like also after the long run by Drake to pick up the first down, Tar Heels get to the
pace.
Get to the pace, and they run the ball up the
tempo,
middle.
Yeah.
That tempo. They take the ball and they run it up the middle, and they pick up a good, 5-6 yards on that first down.
Tar Heels have 3 timeouts. Pitt has 1. Carolina due to get the football to start the second half. So a huge opportunity here to score going in and then get the ball to start the second half.
Oh, they're playing our song in the stadium right now, Jones.
Carolina snapping it off the 8-yard line. Maye pulls it, tries to roll to the far side. Oh, now he's going to throw it and score! Gracious, Maye throws it to Paysour in the end zone for the touchdown.
Oh, what a play. What a heads-up play.
He may have thrown this. He threw it left-handed. Maye was rolling out on the run and threw it left-handed to Paysour for the touchdown. 27-17. Drake Maye, every piece of his ability on display on that drive.
Sports Center number 1 coming.
1 minute to go in the half. Kick is up and good by Burnett, so it's 28-17. So on that drive, think Maye had that incredible tight window throw to J.J. Jones that moved the Heels into Pitt territory. He has the run when pressure was coming. Ended up gaining around 14 yards on the scramble, and then left-handed with 2 guys on him, throws it to Paysour in the end zone for the touchdown. Holy smokes. Enjoy it while you can. He is special.
Oh, that's beautiful. You know that if you look at Pitt, and they come out and they get the sack, ball's down the 2-yard line. They get the illegal substitution penalty. It gives the Heels a little extra down, and then really it was that horizontal swing pass that got him out of the soup and gave the Heels a little bit of breathing room, picked up the penalty along with that. And then, like you said, the laser throw by Drake Maye, and then to be able to get this touchdown right before half and then hopefully get a stop here. No points with a minute to go and get that ball right back.
91-yard drive is the longest of the year for the Tar Heels yardage-wise. 7 plays, 91 yards, 2:31 off the clock. Now, there's still a minute to go, and Pitt does have a timeout. 28-17. Carolina due to get the ball to start the second half, but it's going to need one more defensive effort here. As Boyd, a little shorter kickoff this time. Well, I say that, it still hits 3 yards in the end zone. Off his foot, I thought it was going to be fielded around the 5 or something, but that sucker just carried for another touchback.
It's like Lee Pace's pitching wedge. It just keeps going and going and going.
Drake Maye's made some incredible plays at Carolina. One's up there with all of them.
Yeah.
What a play. So, Tar Heels with the big comeback here in the half, up now 28-17, but needs some defensive work before the half. Pitt does have a timeout starting on its own 25-yard line. Jurkovec's in the shotgun. He has Hammond to his left. He'll drop back and throw. Immediate pressure coming, so it is a screen, but the Tar Heels play it pretty well. It's going to be a couple yards left side, but Hester and Gray chase it down, and it's a gain of 6, maybe 7, but with the clock rolling, not the worst thing that could have happened. Pitt does have a timeout, but not taking it.
Yeah, fans getting a little restless here because they're not in any type of hurry up offense.
They're huddling up, Joe, and this drive started with 1 minute.
Yeah.
Clock's at 30 seconds and rolling. Pitt, not much urgency here. The clock is down to 21 seconds. It is 2nd and 4. Jurkovec gets the snap with 19 seconds on the clock, and his pass is incomplete as he tried to dump it off in the flat right side. So 3rd down coming up. Clock stops on the incompletion with 14 seconds left.
Power Eccles is a human screen chomper. He just eats every single one of those up.
So 3rd and 4 for Pitt. 14 seconds to go before the half. Carolina now leading 28-17. Pitt does have one timeout. A first down would stop the clock to move the chains as we are under 2 minutes in the half. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left for Pitt. They're going to keep it on the ground. Jurkovec keeps it on the... Well, now they're going to call Holloway. Jurkovec kept it. He was getting dragged down by Gray, and then Holloway came flying in. And I think Holloway is going to be ejected for a targeting call.
Yeah, this has got targeting written all over it.
So Gray was dragging down Jurkovec. And he may have had his face mask while he was at it. And so he's getting dragged down, and then Holloway... Well, Holloway led with the shoulder on the replay. Going to need to see how this is all adjudicated in the end. It looked bad.
I don't know if that's targeting. I don't know. I don't think. Maybe not.
8 seconds on the clock. Jurkovec was getting dragged down by Gray. Jurkovec is up and moving around. He was slow to get up.
Like you said, I think it may look a little worse than what it actually was.
After the play was over, personal foul, targeting, defense, number 20. The play is under review.
Yeah, so they're going to review this, and I will be interested to see what it ends up happening. Because, again, in real time, absolutely it looked like it. But
correction, personal foul, late hit with targeting, number 20.
So the late hit you can't take away. That's why there is a difference in what Stuart Mullins just said.
But that wasn't a late hit. He was on the process of being dragged down.
The officials deemed that it was, so that part can't be overturned. So there's going to be a penalty regardless. The question is, did Holloway target? Which means if he did, he'll be ejected. And if not, then he'll be allowed to continue to play. And they'll go under the hood and check it out. Take your Tar Heel tailgate to the next level with a new Honda. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today. Either way, it's a not very smart play by a young player, and Tayon Holloway, because Gray had dragged down Jurkovec. It was not going to be a first down. In fact, it was going to lose a yard, but with the 15 yards, Pitt is now going to have the ball at the 45. There's just 8 seconds left, though.
So they still have a timeout, though,
and
right?
Pitt does have one timeout. But that also goes back to why Pitt allowed so much time to run between their first play and their second play, where they snapped it. I mean, it took them more than 30 seconds. Took more than 40 seconds, in fact, between the first and second play of this drive.
I hope they don't eject him here. It was close.
It looked like he led with the shoulder on replay. Again, in real time, absolutely looked like it.
And we're looking at it on the big screen right now, and
I still think it looks like he led with the shoulder on the big screen.
Yeah.
Replay official tonight is John Bush. There's 8 seconds left first half. Tar Heels leading 28-17. Let's find out from Stuart Mullins what the answer is.
After further review, the ruling of targeting is confirmed. Number 20 is disqualified. 15-yard penalty. First down. The clock will start on the snap.
So unfortunately, Holloway is ejected. He will be available next week for the first half. And now Pitt has brought in their backup quarterback, Christian Veilleux, a Penn State transfer. That's going to get a huge pop from the Pitt crowd, as Veilleux will come in with 8 seconds to go. The clock's supposed to start on the snap, and there is the snap. Veilleux's throw is caught at the 50. Tar Heels miss a tackle, and with 1 second left, the Panthers get out of bounds in Tar Heel territory. Day-Day Reynolds, the man who made the catch, he advances to the 40-yard line. It's a gain of 15, and Pitt's going to send out their kicker. Ben Sauls is going to try a 57-yard kick. His career long is 51. That came against Duke last year.
Surprised the Heels aren't putting a returner.
Pittsburgh, their third and final of the half. 30-second timeout.
So the targeting call on Holloway has given Pitt a chance to add points here at the end of the half, when it looked like Pitt just wanted to get into the locker room, honestly.
Yeah, without the targeting call, that clock runs out, and it's halftime right now.
So Pitt takes its last time out. Tar Heels have 3, and they can take one to ice the kicker should they want to. You can't take back-to-back timeouts anymore, but Pitt called this one. So Carolina, could take it if it wants to. I don't know if you want to or not, as this is an extraordinarily long kick.
I like the idea, and see if they do it, of putting that returner back there near the goalpost. You got those big offensive linemen out, them big uglies down there trying to cover a kick, missed field goal, and return. And that's a tough task, and you could potentially take this thing back to the house on the last play.
So Sauls, again, his career long is 51. That came against Duke last year. He has attempted 2 50-plus yarders in his career. He's 1 for 2. The Heels will indeed put Huzzie back to return a potential short field goal. If it comes up short and he fields it, he's allowed to return. Of course, we famously saw that in the Alabama-Auburn game several years ago. This is really a 58-yard kick, and now Carolina's going to take a timeout.
Ice them up, Mac.
Timeout, North Carolina.
So the Heels will take their first of the half. So this will officially be a 58-yard kick off the right hash. Ben Sauls with the attempt. Let's check in with Lee, our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter.
Well, to Pitt's benefit, he is kicking into the enclosed end, not into the what's called the Bermuda Triangle of Pittsburgh, which is the open end near the river where Jeff Reed did so well when he played for the Steelers back in the day. But he's going to be going into a little bit of a wind, a little bit of a right to left angle as well.
The Bermuda Triangle, Lee. That sounds dangerous.
It's going to be a long kick here from Sauls, trying to steal some points here at the end of the half. The holder is Cam Guess. Snapper is Byron Floyd. 58-yard attempt. Snap was a little low. Saul's kick is way short. Huzzie will have a chance for a return. So Huzzie coming out of the end zone. Remember, a lot of big guys out on the field. Huzzie is eventually pushed out of bounds at around the 15 or 20-yard line. So the targeting call ends up not hurting in the sense of no points added, but Holloway gone for the second half. Pitt will kick off to the Tar Heels to start the second half. Carolina leads at 28-17. Also, now you have the subplot of who the quarterback is for Pitt in the second half, with Jurkovec not playing that final snap and Maye coming in and completing a pass for 15 yards. We're going to keep it here. Lee's going to talk to Coach Brown as he heads into the locker room, so hang tight. Lee will talk to Coach before we head to the break, and then Dave Nathan will take you through the Wells Fargo halftime report. Again, it's 28-17. Carolina with a season high in a quarter, 21 points in the second quarter to take this 11-point lead over Pitt at the break. Still waiting for Coach to finish up with television. Which will happen one day. And then Lee will talk to him. Tar Heels were down 7-0 and 14-7. But once it was 14-7, Heels have outscored Pitt 21-3. Mac Brown still, now maybe he's ready. Still talking with TV. Okay, now he's going to talk to Lee. Go ahead, Lee.
You survived their best shot, Coach. A lot of composure by your guys.
Yeah, we told them that it would be there'd be a surge. Always is. They're disappointed in their start, so they were going to come out and give us everything. They changed some things offensively. They got the quarterback on the corner a few times. They hit us with a throwback to the tight end twice, but our defense has settled down. They've adjusted. They kept the ball away from us. We only had the ball like 4 minutes first quarter. Punt return was huge. Drake's made a couple of unbelievable plays. We get the ball to start the third quarter, so we finished the half right. We got to start it right.
Well, thank you, Coach. Back to you, Jones.
Thanks, Lee. 28-17. Tar Heels on top of the break. Dave will take you through the Wells Fargo halftime report after this from Learfield. That'll wrap up the Wells Fargo halftime show, brought to you by Wells Fargo, official sponsor of Carolina Athletics, which means it's time for the trusted choice of the game. Brought to you by the Trusted Choice Independent Insurance Agents of North Carolina, who want you to stay safe behind the wheel. Put down your phone while driving. Let's have a hands-free NC. To learn more and find an agent near you, visit trustedchoice.com/go Heels. Jones Angel and Joe Yock here with you in Pittsburgh. Joe, Tar Heels up 28-17, due to get the football to start the second half. What, in your mind, on those trusted choices of the game, what are your mind going to be important here in half number 2?
Yeah, I definitely think you keep them in 3rd and long. The pressure that UNC's defense has gotten with their front 4, rushing 3-4, has been very effective. They keep them 3rd and long. And then the other thing I think also is you saw the special teams punt return for a touchdown. I think there's going to be one more opportunity to make a big-time special teams play, and you got to capitalize on it.
Yeah, Huzzie's had 2 big returns, a 30-yarder that got Carolina the ball at midfield, in which they eventually scored, and then the 52-yard touchdown on the punt return. That made it 21-14 at the time. It's now 28-17 as the kickoff from left-footed Ben Sauls will be fielded. No, fair catch called for by George Pettaway. And so the Tar Heels will have it at the 25. Let's check in with Lee to get things started here in half number 2. Lee.
Jones, I sidled up to Clyde Christensen, the former Tar Heel quarterback who is now a volunteer assistant coach. Of course, he coached Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, among others, in the NFL. I said, well, what was the conversation like with Drake Maye in the locker room after that left-handed pass? And he just kind of laughed and said, don't give up those hits like that, but good job.
Tar Heels have really bolstered their offensive staff. Chip Lindsey, Freddie Kitchens, Clyde Christensen. They've got some really smart football coaches in that room. As the Tar Heels going to start it on the ground, and will gain 3 up the middle. Trying to see if that was Hampton or Brooks. It was Omarion Hampton. So 2nd and 7. Carolina did not have much success running. Just 29 yards on 16 carries in the first half. Second straight week that the Heels have had trouble moving the football on the ground. Maye going to try a deep ball. Has a man there. It's J.J. Jones in stride and is taken down inside the Pitt 20. Jones had a one-on-one coverage with M.J. Devonshire. Maye plenty of time to throw, and he put it right on the money.
J.J. Jones did a great job of sticking his foot in the ground at the outside, running the post route.
Carolina has already snapped it, and it will be a gain of, well, just back to the line of scrimmage for Hampton. So Carolina gets 52 on the pass to J.J. Jones, but then unable to score. Carolina's brought in Christian Hamilton, a freshman from Harrisburg. He's going to be wide right. Nesbitt and Paysour wide left. So Hamilton, the freshman, getting some action today. As Maye will roll his way, but he's going to throw it to Nesbitt, who makes the... Oh, no, he didn't make the catch. It looked like he had the sliding grab at about the 13, but he must have juggled the football. Incomplete.
Timeout for
and there's an injured Pitt player. And let's see if we're going to take a full timeout or not. We will, yes. So with a Pitt player down, and it appears DeAndre Jules, the defensive lineman. Carolina is going to be facing a 3rd and 10 when we return. So Carolina, with the deep ball, gets to the Pitt 20, but back-to-back plays, no gain. 3rd and 10 coming up after this. Just getting started in half number 2. Tar Heels 28, Pitt 17. 13:36 to go, third quarter from Learfield. DeAndre Jules did walk off with some help, the injured Pitt player, during the timeout. Carolina facing a 3rd and 10 on the Panther 20. 52-yard pass from Maye to Jones. Gets Carolina to the Pitt red zone, but then a run for no yards, and then Nesbitt, a ball that I think he catches 9 times out of 10, but just juggled it sliding down at the 13 and didn't hold on as he rolled over. So it'll be 3rd and 10 from the 20. The rain has stopped, and really since the game started, the wet weather has been gone. It was pretty nasty, particularly leading up to kickoff. A little cooler, low 60s here, but fortunately, at least for now, the rain is holding off after drizzling for most of the day, getting a little heavier before kickoff, but it's been okay as action has been underway. Tar Heels moving left to right here in the third quarter. This is the first possession of the second half. Heels up 28-17. Carolina was just 1 of 3. Only had 3 third downs in the first half. Got their first one, but didn't get their second or their third. They're going to try to keep it on the ground. Hampton, stiff arm, gets free. Around the far side, Hampton is pushed out of bounds, but he has the first down. Boy, that stiff arm by Hampton knocked a Pitt player away, ends up gaining 11 around the left edge.
Yeah, UNC Chip Lindsey just had the right call on. Pitt brought the defensive blitz from their left side, and the Heels, Hampton went the other direction with and able to pick up the first down. Just the right call against the right defense.
It was freshman Braylon Lovelace who got shoved to the ground by Hampton with that stiff arm. Tar Heels keep it on the ground, bowling forward over the 5 and to the 1 is Hampton. So Carolina second and goal now from the 1 yard line. Remember, Pitt was able to stand tall at the 1 a couple of times in the first half. Carolina moving very quickly. They've already handed off. Hampton, boy, it's really close. And one official says he's down. One says, no, I thought touchdown, but instead it will be third and goal at the 1. Maye under center. He's just going to sneak it and in for the score. Drake Maye with his second rushing touchdown in the ballgame. This one comes from just a yard away.
Yeah, I was surprised the Heels went so fast right there. Really thought as if Hampton may have been in the end zone and had a chance to get a review on that, but they decided to go up there, snap the ball real quickly. Drake Maye runs the old QB sneak for 6 points.
So Maye has now thrown for a touchdown and rushed for 2. And it's 34-17 with Burnett on to try and add the extra point. Still awaiting the snap. And the kick is up and in by Burnett. So Carolina scored a touchdown on its first drive, then went 3 and out. Since then, touchdown, punt return touchdown, touchdown, touchdown for the Tar Heels offensively. This one comes at the 12:32 mark. Maye from 1 yard out caps a 8-play, 75-yard drive in 2:28. So Maye now 3 rushing touchdowns on the year, 10 for his career. He has accounted passing and rushing for 54 touchdowns now in his Tar Heel career.
Nice.
44 passing and 10 on the ground. Let's check in with our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter, Lee Pace.
Well, speaking to Drake Maye, James, I was standing behind him as he launched that 50-yarder down the field to J.J. Jones. That was just a thing of beauty, and that's the kind of accuracy he has really become known at the Manning Passing Academy this summer. He was with some of the finest quarterbacks in the country. They had an event on Friday night called Friday Night Lights. One of the competitions was to throw a football from 50 yards away toward a basketball goal. It was over within 1 minute because Drake Maye was the first guy to throw it through a basketball goal 50 yards away.
Liam Boyd kicks it. Boy, it was almost. He was angling it toward that front corner of the end zone, and he did so. Almost out of bounds, but he angles it perfectly for the touchback. And this is my personal opinion. I think Drake's always been accurate, as it will be Christian Veillere, the backup quarterback, coming in for Pitt. That's why you hear the pop from the crowd. Drake's always been accurate. I think he has improved his accuracy down the field.
Yes.
He's always been accurate, short and medium. I think he has, as he's gone along, gotten better pushing it down the field. Of course, he's following Sam Howell, who might have been one of the best to ever do it down the field as far as accuracy in his time at Carolina. Veillere fakes the handoff to Hammond. He fooled a lot of people, including me, but fortunately he didn't fool Cedric Gray, who takes him down for a gain of 3 around the left side of the line. So it'll be 2nd and 7. Clock at 12:12 and counting. Still early third quarter. Tar Heels owning their largest lead of the ball game now, 35-17. They've outscored Pitt 28-3 since the Panthers led 14-7. Veillere, a Penn State transfer, a redshirt sophomore originally from Canada, back to throw, knocked away by Gray. Really nice defense by Gray as he knocked it free from Bub Means, who was trying to run a little slant route. He was set up as the slot on the left side, was angling to the middle of the field, and Gray, really nice job.
Yeah, really nice job by Ced Gray right there, being able to get right in his hip pocket, felt the slant route, ball was delivered, didn't interfere with him, stick his hand out, knock that ball down across the middle. really putting Pitt in a third and long situation.
Second PBU this year for Gray, 15th of his Tar Heel career. Remember, he played wideout some in high school, so he has that ability in space. Third down coming for Veillere, the backup quarterback, and Pitt. Tar Heels bring pressure. Veillere hit as he throws, and that forces the throw to come up short. It was Gray who hit him in the back as Veillere was trying to throw to the far sideline to Mumfield. And it's a 3-and-out for the Panthers. Tar Heels will receive the punt.
Really, really like the mindset of defensive coordinator Gene Chizik right there. You get a new quarterback in, and you're going to say, hey, we'll play man across the board. We're going to bring heat on you. We're going to make you make throws. We're going to hit you from behind in the back right there. Really, really good job drawing that up and getting the pressure on the quarterback, the new quarterback.
11:47 to go, third quarter. Huzzie has been effective in the punt return game with 2 long returns, including a 52-yarder for a touchdown. That's a line drive. Huzzie clears out of the way. And it's going to roll inside, well, right to the 20. It bounced at the 35. Huzzie smartly got out of the way as it was swirling around on the turf. And Carolina will have the football when we return. 11 minutes and 36 seconds to go, third quarter. Another timeout here in Pitt. Tar Heels up 18, 35-17 from Learfield.
All the action, all season long. You're listening to Tar Heel Football.
35-17 Carolina, 11:36 to go, third quarter. Tar Heels have surpassed the 25-point mark in this game. In fact, did it before halftime. That means Duke Energy contributes another $1,000 to the Duke Energy Share the Light Fund as the Tar Heels light up the scoreboard. Duke Energy Share the Light Fund brings together customers and communities to help individuals and families struggling to pay their energy bills. Learn more by visiting duke-energy.com. Awesome initiative there by Duke Energy. And the Tar Heels have scored 30 or more points in all 4 games this year, 8 of the last 12 going back to last season. So that 25-point mark, something that may be in danger most games this season for the Tar Heel offense. And they're up 35-17 right now. By the way, also brought to you in part by Modelo, proud to sponsor Carolina football. Modelo, an official beer of the Tar Heels. Maye going to hand off, and it's going to pay off big as Hampton steps through some tackles once, twice, and Hampton just tripped up near midfield. Hampton, he's powerful, but he was dancing through tackles on that one out to the 46. And Pitt, as Carolina tried to go fast, Pitt has a man go down. And so we'll take another break, I think. That was a gain of 26 by Hampton.
Diego Pounds put the smackdown on a pole.
I think, are we taking another full timeout? Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, this guy, it's called the Red Hat. He's supposed to go out with his clock and let you know.
His clock was all messed
up. His clock wasn't working. Now it's back on.
He's disheveled.
35-17 Tar Heels. Hampton's 26-yard run, longest one of the day for Carolina. They'll have it 1st and 10 at their own 46 when we come back. 35-17 Heels from Learfield. Carolina 35, Pitt 17. 11-17 to go in the third quarter. Everyday style is easy with favorite looks for family fun and saving a ton at Kohl's. Whether you're savoring summer or gearing up for fall, they have you covered. Shop Kohl's and Kohl's.com today. That's KOHLS.com. Jones Angel, Joe Yock, Lee Pace, our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter. Dave Nathan back in the studio. Ben Alexander, our chief network engineer. John Essick back in the studio as well. Your Tar Heel Sports Network team here with you tonight. Thanks for joining us. Carolina up 35-17 and a 1st and 10 on their own 46. Maye's going to hand off to British Brooks, who's in now. The senior from Gastonia lowers his shoulder, crosses the 50. Get a good 5 or 6 yards on that first down run.
Yeah, real nice run. I said there isn't a lot there, but like I said, lowers the shoulder, gets a body moving forward, always falling forward, and it looks like nothing. Like I said, turns into a 6-yard run.
Carolina did not run the ball once in the third quarter last week, but then carried it 16 times for 76 yards in the fourth quarter. They were very excited that they were able to run it so effectively late in that one. 6-yard gain there, so it's 2nd and 4. Pitt bringing some heat, but the Tar Heels are bringing Maye. Completes it down the slot left side to Paysour, and he makes the diving grab at about the 25 of the Panthers.
Yeah, real good job by Drake. Ran a little play action fake, brought the heat, delivers a strike.
Carolina moving quickly, and it's a handoff. Boy, nice little juke move by Brooks as he tried to go right side. He doesn't get much on the play, but it was just a nice move to get back to near the line of scrimmage. He may have actually gained a yard. The throw to Paysour was a gain of 22, and then Brooks gets 1 on the run. So it's going to be 2nd and 9 at the Pitt 25. Clock moving third quarter, 9:47 and counting. Tar Heels 35, Pitt 17. Carolina's outscored Pitt 28-3. Since the Panthers had a 14-7 lead early in the second quarter. Brooks still the back. He's standing to the left of Maye. And he'll get the football. Avoids a tackle in the backfield and fights his way again for just a yard. British Brooks has 2 carries for 2 yards on these last 2. But they have been hard-earned yards for Brooks on these last 2 carries.
Yeah, he's been jammed up behind the line of scrimmage. He's able to pick up a little something.
Carolina 3 of 5 on third down. This is 3rd and 8, though. Maye's going to empty out the backfield. Brooks and Jones to the right. McCollum, who doesn't have a catch today. Nesbitt and Andre Green out to the left. Maye's going to throw it down the sideline near side, and the ball deemed uncatchable by the field judge, because there was a lot of contact between Devonshire and J.J. Jones, but the field judge, who is Ryan Flynn, said the ball was too high and not catchable, so no flag.
Yeah, there was a lot of contact on that play, but I agree. I think it's the right call. I think even if there's no contact, J.J. had absolutely no opportunity of being able to make that catch.
So Tar Heels bring on Noah Burnett. This will be a 42-yard kick off the right hash, with 8:50 to go in the third quarter. Snap back, spot down. Burnett's kick is up, and it is good. Burnett adds 3 more on the scoreboard for the Tar Heels. They go up 38-17. And Burnett now 2 for 2 on field goals this year. Had a 42-yarder last week against Minnesota. And we'll see if it will be officially 43 yards on that one. And Carolina extends the lead to 21 points. And I think we mentioned this last week, but credit to Burnett. He was a starter last year, had some very notable missed kicks at the end of last season, but he didn't pout. He's kept his head in the game, and with the injury to Ryan Coe, he's now kicking, and he caps off a 7-play, 55-yard drive in 2 minutes and 52 seconds. That has extended Carolina's lead to the largest at any point of any game this season, 21, at 38-17 with 8:44 to go in the third quarter. Now Liam Boyd will kick it off for the Tar Heels. End-over-end kick will be fielded at the 1. Nice block and heading down the far sideline for Pittsburgh, and taking it all the way is Kenny Johnson. Kickoff return for a score. So Carolina had quieted the crowd and controlled the game, but the kickoff return has given Pittsburgh life.
Yeah, that's what this is. These kickoffs that always go deep into the end zone, and sometimes you get a little lead in you, get a little complacent, and there was a big hole that opened up him and allowed him to get towards the sidelines and take that one all the way to the house. Just can't relax for 1 second in this game.
99 yards. Kenny Johnson That is the 29th kick return TD by Pitt since 2000. 15 kickoffs and 14 punts returned for scores, including the 17th under Pat Narduzzi. So we've seen the Tar Heels with a punt return touchdown, and now Pitt with a kickoff return touchdown. And the Panthers back within 14 at 38-24. Takes just 12 seconds for them to get the touchdown on the board.
Said one of the keys to the game in the second half was there was going to be one more big special teams play. It just went to the wrong team.
First kickoff return touchdown allowed by Carolina since 2017. Old Dominion ran a kickoff back for a touchdown against the Tar Heels that year. So we've seen a punt return touchdown from Carolina first since 2018. And now a kickoff return touchdown by the opposition, first time since 2017. And, boy, you felt like Carolina had control of this game. They're still up 2 scores, but Pitt certainly has life when it looked like the Heels were squeezing it out of them. Just a huge block after about the first 10 yards of that return. And Kenny Johnson, as that kickoff will be a touchback. There was almost no question what was going to happen once he got to about the 30 or 35-yard line.
Yeah, the bad side, you give up a 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, but the Tar Heels offense gets to go right back on the field with a potential Pitt defense that could start seeing a little wear and tear as this game moves on.
Tar Heels have already run 15 plays this half to just 3 for Pittsburgh. 8:32 to go third quarter. It's now 38-24. Hampton the back, standing to the right of Maye. Maye going to throw, dumps it over the middle to J.J. Jones, who quickly protects the football and falls forward for a first down to the 35.
Yeah, really love that concept, Jones. You get a swing out by the running back. The tight end makes it look like he's going to block for him, which makes the outside linebacker expand out, which opens up a huge hole for J.J. Jones over the middle. Just a really good concept by Chip Lindsey on that play.
So a gain of 10 and a first down. 8 minutes to go third quarter. Maye again in the shotgun, claps his hands. He'll hand off. Well, a physical hit at the line of scrimmage against Hampton. I believe it was Nick Lappy who made the hit after a short gain. Gain of 2 at 2nd and 8.
Be interesting to see what the play calling is here in this drive. Heels need to answer. Will they try to take a shot downfield with Drake?
Maye will play action and indeed try to go down the field. J.J. Jones extends for it but can't bring it in at the Panther 30. And so that'll bring up a big third down as the Tar Heels trying to avoid quickly giving the ball back to Pitt after the kickoff return score. This is a 3rd and 8. Carolina is 3 of 6 on third down. 2 of 3 this half. 7:18 to go third quarter. Maye will throw from the shotgun. Time to do so, and it is caught. Paysour, first down. Paysour had to come back to it, had to make sure he got his arms underneath it, and he did at the 47. A gain of 10 and a first down.
Yeah, Kobe Paysour runs a really nice route on that play, a curl route where he took a shot to push the defender out just a little bit with a jab step, curl back inside, and then go down deep and get that ball.
So Carolina, big third down conversion, clock rolling, and they'll hand it off on first down. Boy, another big meeting near the line of scrimmage. Some big guys slamming into one another. That was Hampton falling forward to the 50. Collided with David Green. After a game, they'll say he was down at just short of the 50, so a gain of 2. They'll bring up 2nd and 8. Tar Heels continue to try that run game. They have just 89 yards on the ground on 28 carries. Maye's going to throw this time. Rolls out to the near side. He will throw it to Jones and gets a foot down. Yes, for the first down in Pitt territory. At around the Panther 35. Nice job by Jones. Yes, he did get a foot down.
What a catch.
Only got one in, but that's all he needed.
What a catch.
Gain of 17 on the play. Maye throws it. It's tipped up in the air, but caught, I think, on the tip by Nesbitt. Actually, he's going to lose some yards as Maye was rolling out to the far side. Dumped it off to Nesbitt, who I don't know why just tipped it up in the air. Then caught it himself, but loses some yardage on the play. Loses 4. It'll be 2nd and 14.
I think he dropped that. They need to review this. Look at the replay on the screen here. It looked like it got cut underneath him, and he dropped it.
38-24, Carolina. Tar Heels at the Pitt 38, but this is 2nd and long. Throw to Hampton in the flat near side behind him. Makes the catch, then makes a couple guys miss. Ends up gaining 3 on the play. That was hard-earned work there by Hampton as the throw from Maye was a little behind the talented Tar Heel runner. He still caught it and was able to get 3 yards.
That was the same play they ran coming out of their own end zone earlier, but Copenhagen slipped down right there on the block, and they allowed the tackler to make the play.
3rd and 11. Pitt showing pressure. Tar Heels ease up. Clock moving, 4:50 and counting, 3rd quarter. Carolina 38, Pitt 24. And just as the Heels snap it, Pitt takes a timeout.
Prior to the snap, timeout, Pittsburgh. Their first of the half.
First timeout called by either team this half. Stops the clock at 4:44, 3rd quarter. So Carolina led by 21 after Noah Burnett's 43-yard field goal. That lasted just 12 seconds, though, because a 99-yard kickoff return touchdown by Kenny Johnson gets the Panthers back within 14. Tar Heels have now moved off their own 25 to the Pitt 35. This will be the 9th play of the drive, but it's a 3rd and 11 for the Tar Heels. J.J. Jones, by the way, 97 yards on 4 catches. That's a career high for him in yards, and 1 off, tying his career high in receptions in a game. He is the leading receiver, both receptions and yardage-wise, for the Heels tonight.
It'll be interesting to see how Carolina plays this. So the yardage there on the field on the 35, this could be 2-down territory potentially.
McCollum, Nesbitt, Paysour to the left. Jones, the lone receiver, to the short side of the field to right. Heels going left to right, ball on the near hash. 3rd down, Maye's throw, caught at the 30. Immediate hit made, though. It was McCollum who gets his first catch of the day. Carolina gains 5, and they are going to bring out the field goal unit. So this will be a longer kick. Should be around 47 or 48-yard attempt.
All right, come on, Noah. You got this. One time.
Carolina now 4 of 8 on 3rd downs. It will be a 48-yard attempt off the left hash. Snap back, spot down, kick is up, and it is right through there. So Noah Burnett has made a 43 and a 48-yard kick. That is a career long for Burnett. 48 yards, surpassing the 47 that he had at App a year ago. Comes at the 3:58 mark of the 3rd quarter and caps off a 10-play drive, 45 yards, 4 minutes and 34 seconds off the clock.
Jones, how many drives today have we not scored points on?
Yeah, it's just 1. So the Tar Heels, if you include the punt return touchdown as a drive, Carolina has gone touchdown, punt, touchdown, 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 field goal, field goal. So that, again, including the punt return touchdown, 6 consecutive drives that the Heels have scored points.
That is music to Heels fans' ears right there.
All right, Kenny Johnson, who just ran one back 99 yards for a score. And Carolina's going to sky kick it. 2 Panthers run into one another. The ball is loose. And let's see. Everybody's piling up. Pitt does get on the football at the 35-yard line.
Ruling on the field to pitch was muffed and recovered by the receiving team.
So Carolina tried to sneak in a sky kick, and two players, Gavin Bartholomew and also Crumpley, who is not listed as number 15 on Pitt's roster but is wearing number 15, they rammed into one another. And the ball was free for a moment.
Wow.
Pitt fortunate to fall on it. And they'll take over at the 36-yard line. Actually, Crumpley is listed. They have three number 15s on their team, including Crumpley. End around. Coming to the far side. A lot of space. Carolina closes it up pretty nicely. Biggers able to chase down Kenny Johnson. It is going to be a positive game, but that looked like it could be a huge play. Biggers did a nice job pushing Johnson out of bounds after a gain of 7 on the end around. Couple of reserves out there defensively. Let's just set that defense for you. Atkinson, Ritzie, Shaw, Rucker up front. Gray and Eccles, the linebackers. Chapman and Allen, the corners. Lane and Hardy, the safeties. Hand up the middle is Hammond. He gets a ton of space all the way to the Tar Heel 40-yard line. That's the first time anybody even made contact with Hammond, as he had a huge hole to run through.
Yeah, great job by Pitt on that concept right there. Quarterback comes out, gives you an outside zone look, and then reverses out and hands it back to the left side with a huge hole opened up, just like you said.
Gain of 17. The safeties, I said Hardy. It's actually Lane and Biggers, and then Huzzie at that star position for the Tar Heels. So Pitt, in just 2 plays, has gone to the Carolina 40. It's still Vayer, the backup quarterback, in for Pitt. Handoff to Hammond around the right side, and he'll get more positive yardage. Allen does a nice job slowing him down. It'll be a gain of around 5 on the play.
Yeah, back-to-back, same plays. Quarterback comes out, shows the ball, gives a little look, like they're going left side with a zone play, and then reverses back, and they go back to the right. Tar Heel defensive line needs to squeeze that down and set the edge over there.
41-24 Carolina, 2:12 and counting third quarter. Vayer under center with Hammond behind him, and I think Pitt moved. Up front.
Full start. Offense, number 8. 5-yard penalty.
That's Carter Johnson, who's listed at 6'2", 255. Used to be he was recruited as a D lineman to TCU, where he weighed 330 pounds at the time. But TCU to a community college, and now Pitt makes a mistake there. Clock moving, 1:54 and counting third quarter, and that takes away the 5 yards Pitt gained on the first down run. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the Tar Heel 40. Pitt moving right to left, ball on the far hash. Vayer will drop back to throw. Atkinson drills him as he throws. It's just hanging in the air and intercepted. Carolina gets the pick. Huzzie with the interception. Atkinson made the hit, and Huzzie brings it in.
Interception. First down, North Carolina.
How about first of all, Atkinson made it happen with the pressure, but how about Huzzie today, as he now has a punt return touchdown. He's broken up a pass, has the interception as well. That one coming at the 1:31 mark of the third quarter.
I'll tell you what, Bo Atkinson came through that line like he was running through hell with gasoline shorts on. I mean, that guy lit him
The intercepting
up.
player gained control of the ball at the 1-yard line, and his momentum carried him into the end zone where he was down. By rule, the ball will be returned to the 1-yard line. First down, North Carolina.
Well, that's the only bad news, as you heard the referee, Stuart Mullen, saying that Carolina's going to have to snap it at the 1 because Huzzie gained control at the 1 before his momentum.
The ball replaced at the 2-yard line.
Okay, now we're going to put it at the 2-yard line. So that's where Carolina will have it. So that part isn't good, but the rest of it sure is. So Carolina will start on its own 2. 1:31 to go, third quarter. Tar Heels leading 41-24, but way backed up. Maye will be standing a good 4 yards in the end zone to receive the shotgun snap. He's going to roll out and throw it. Quick little throw to J.J. Jones, and he crosses the 5 to around the 6 or the 7. So just an easy play to gain a couple yards and get some space.
This is what the great offenses do. You got to know how to come out of the soup when you're backed up.
Gain of 4 to the 6. Tar Heels don't need to rush here, as there's a minute 12 to go in the third quarter with Carolina leading 41-24. Maye going to throw it again. Comes to the near side and caught again. J.J. Jones with another terrific catch on the sideline. One-on-one with A.J. Woods. Makes the grab. He's gone over 100 yards receiving for the first time in his career.
I'll tell you what, J.J. Jones was tied up on the sidelines and said, let's get physical right there, and came down with the football. What a good throw.
That's to the 20.
Oh, got his foot down.
That's a 16-yard gain to the 22. Now Carolina's going to run it and just fighting for his life to get back to the line of scrimmage is Hampton. It'll be 2nd and 10. Clock is getting low. Tar Heels don't have to snap it again this quarter if they don't want to. And they're already walking towards their sideline, so that will be the final play of quarter number 3. Carolina gets a 1-yard Drake Maye touchdown run and 2 Noah Burnett field goals in the in the third. Joe's already got his 4s
Get
up.
the 4 up,
got a little
Get
confused
the 4
there.
up. Let's go.
But Pitt does have the 99-yard kickoff return to keep this one at least interesting as we go to the 4th. 41-24 Carolina. They'll be looking at 2nd and 10 when we return to Pittsburgh from Learfield. Heading to the fourth quarter, Tar Heels have led by as many as 21, currently up 17, 41-24. And the Heels have the football. They'll have it 2nd and 10 on their own 22. Now moving from right to left with the ball on the far hash when action resumes again. We've been checking in with Lee Pace all night. He's our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter. All his reports brought to you by the Pinehurst Resort, home of the 2024 U.S. Open. History is made in Pinehurst, one moment at a time. Let's check the Lenovo stats through 3 quarters. Brought to you by Lenovo, global technology leader that has called North Carolina home since 2005. Visit Lenovo.com. Smarter technology for all. Heels 363 yards. Pitt 236. Carolina now up to 274 passing, 89 on the ground. Carolina also is 4 of 8 on 3rd down, 1 of 1 on 4th down. Pitt, meanwhile, 3 of 7 on 3rd down in this one. So 2nd and 10, and Maye's going to throw on the first play of the quarter, and he's going to be sacked. He wanted to throw to his left, but pulled it back down because DeAndre Jules was charging in and took him down. The sack, Pitt's 4th of the night, which matches how many Carolina had allowed in the first 3 games. Pushes the ball back to the 15 and brings up a 3rd and very long 3rd and 17.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see much chance here. The screen or draw on a play like this, 3rd and long.
It is a quick hitter to McCollum on the near side. Angles to the middle of the field. Gets the sack yardage back, but not nearly enough for the first down. So gain of 7, but Carolina will have to punt it away for just the 2nd time today. So the Heels run 5 plays after the interception. But again, a little unlucky that Huzzie controlled that interception at the 2 as his momentum took him into the end zone. So they were pinned way back. And get a little bit of breathing room for this punt, but not as much as they wanted. Pitt showing pressure at the line as Kiernan awaits the snap. He gets it with 2 on the play clock, and it's blocked. The kick is blocked. It is rolling around, and Pitt falls on it at the 20-yard line. Second straight week that Pitt has blocked a punt. And the special teams are keeping Pitt in this. Boy, it seemed like it took Kiernan a long time to punt that away.
Went right off the Pitt player's helmet.
It was Rasheem Biles who blocked the kick last week for Pitt against West Virginia. Biles blocks it again, the freshman from Pickerington, Ohio, and Pitt gets an automatic red zone possession.
All right, here we go, D. This you got to do. Sudden change, turnover on the block punt. Let's go. Time to man up. Get a stop right here in the red zone.
So Pitt with the great starting field position, the Carolina 20-yard line. And Veyer fumbles the handoff, and Carolina gets back on it. Veyer, the backup quarterback,
on the field, it's a fumble. Recovered by the defense.
Was trying to hand off on the jet sweep to Kenny Johnson. It hits the turf, and Gray jumps on it.
Yeah, Kenny Johnson did a really bad job of giving him a pocket. It's almost like he tried to grab the ball from him, and it ended up with the turf. And the Heels get that quick turnover.
So 13-19 to go in the fourth quarter. Gray with the fumble recovery. It is his fourth of his Tar Heel career. It will give Carolina the ball on its own 17-yard line. It's the first turnover in the red zone this year for Pitt, and the first one the Tar Heels have forced. See if Carolina stays conservative. Nope, Maye's going to throw. In fact, he's going to push it down the field, and gracious, he was looking for McCollum. It looked like the defender, here comes the flag eventually. Javon McIntyre was just holding on to McCollum. I'm surprised it took that long for the flag to come in.
And the ref on the other side, the far side of the field in the middle, had to make the call. The guy
prior to the pass, holding, defense number 7, 10-yard penalty with an automatic.
So they
first down.
Call it a defensive holding, not a pass interference, but it was a pretty obvious one, it appeared. So the 10 yards moves it to the 27-yard line. And Carolina will have it first and 10. 13-14 to go, fourth quarter. Maye, swing pass to the near side, and McCollum can't make a man miss. As good recovery there by McIntyre, dropping McCollum as he crosses the 30.
Yeah, good play right there. That's like a nice run. You should take a quick ball, get out of Drake's hands, stretch the field to the wide side horizontally, and then let McCollum move it upfield for a quick 5-yard gain.
It is a gain of 4 officially. I think that ball's marked on the 31, maybe the 32. Let's give him 5. That's what Joe said. We'll agree with it. 2nd and 5. Maye, swing pass this time the other way to Brooks, and there is nothing doing. He loses all the yards the Heels just got. Pitt all over that one.
Yeah, they read that one great. They saw that right from the beginning, closed the gap down real quick and put them on the ground, turned into a 3rd and 11.
Yeah, so that loses 6. So Tar Heels gain 5, then lose 6. The ball's back to the 26-yard line. 3rd and 11, 41-24 Carolina with 12-10 and counting in the fourth quarter.
You're going to get an outside blitz from both sides right here.
Yeah, Tar Heels facing some pressure. They quickly hit Nesbitt, middle of the field, first down.
Perfect. It was the early play by Drake by clapping his hands, showing the defense what they're going to do on the blitz, backing away from it, knew that he had Nesbitt on the inside with a quick slant.
Carolina converts on 3rd down. A gain of 15 to the 41-yard line. Heels moving right to left, ball on the far hash. Paysour comes in motion around the play. Tar Heels hand off to Brooks, who is able just to get back to the line of scrimmage. No gain.
It's some tough sledding inside.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, a lot of the Tar Heel yardage in the run game has been on the edge when they can get there, or Maye scrambling. Hampton did have the one big run of 26 yards. That's really been the only explosive run the Heels have had from a back. Maye did have a couple scrambles that were effective. 11:08 and counting, fourth quarter. Carolina 41, Pitt 24. 2nd and 10 for the Tar Heels. They snap it with 10 on the play clock. Maye rolling to the far side. Easy pass to Andre Green, and he did not catch it. Well, Green was unguarded on the sideline. Need to look at a replay. We were blocked off by the Pitt sideline. I'm not sure. He just straight dropped it. That's one you just got to catch.
Yeah,
and Andre Green's going to come out.
Yeah, trying to pick up 5 yards, put him in a simple 3rd and 5, open up the playbook. Now stuck in a 3rd and 10.
And it stops the clock, which the Tar Heels are trying to work off here with 10:56 to go in the fourth quarter and a 17-point lead. Play clock's down to 8 as Maye eases up. Now he's got to get moving. He'll get the snap with 4 on the play clock. Clean pocket. Now Maye flushed out to the right, and he's just going to have to take a seat. Avoided a hit by Shane Simon, but Simon will be credited for a sack just because he kind of pushed Maye to the ground as Drake was sitting down back at the 36-yard line.
Yeah, and Drake made the right decision. There was nobody open downfield. Nice lead. Don't have to force anything, or don't throw an incomplete pass, which stops the clock.
Yeah, good point. Tar Heels now 5 of 11 on 3rd down. Now they just had a punt blocked a second ago.
They're coming again.
Yep, 10 guys at the line for Pitt. Kiernan got to get this thing away faster than he did last time. And he does kick it away. And it's fielded by the Panthers as a flag comes in. Coming to the near side. This is going to be a decent return for Devonshire, but it's going to come back as Devonshire returns it right around midfield, but there is a flag way back at the point of receipt of the punt, where I believe there was an illegal block.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
We're going to have a full timeout as Carolina trying to finish this game up. 9 minutes and 54 seconds still to go. Carolina 41, Pitt 24. Panthers will have it back on their 20-yard line after the penalty. We're back with more after this from Learfield. 41-24 Tar Heels, 9:54 to go, fourth quarter. We're brought to you in part by the Good Feet store. If you have foot, knee, hip, or back pain, Good Feet Arch Supports are engineered to support all 4 arches to provide pain relief, balance, and comfort. Try them for yourself. Book your free fitting today at goodfeet.com. We need to break 10 seconds for station identification. They've changed the line of scrimmage here. They've moved it to the 18 instead of the 20. So that's where Pitt will take over after this 10-second break. Down the lines on the Tar Heels Sports Network. First down throw complete as Maye stays in the game. Completes it to Day Reynolds on the near side. Pushed out of bounds. Think he has enough for the first down. He does. He gains 12. Tar Heels were playing pretty soft in the secondary with the 17-point lead. Heels have some reserves defensively. Gaynor, Kedrick Bingley-Jones, Kevin Hester, and Jacoby Cowan. The front 4, Eccles and Gray at linebacker. Hardy and Chapman, the safeties. Huzzie at star. As the throw is tipped up, and was it intercepted or not? Incomplete, as Huzzie darn near had his second pick of the day, diving in to try and snag the tip football, but he couldn't quite get there in time. The ball was tipped by Power Eccles, and Huzzie just a hair late trying to get the interception.
What a great job by Power Eccles without interfering with the receiver. Get his hand up like a corner, knock that ball up in the air.
Stops the clock with 9:19 to go as Maye's pass is complete. Immediate hit and a violent one by Hardy. But it is enough for the first down to the 41-yard line. Catch was made by Mumfield. Pitt has 2 timeouts. Carolina has 3. Tar Heels 41, Pitt 24. Panthers moving from left to right with 8:50 and counting in the fourth quarter. Maye, the Penn State transfer, second quarterback for Pitt, completes it to Bub Means. Quick tackle by Eccles after the gain of 4. Tar Heels trying to keep everything in front of them right now. Pitt trying to play with some pace for the first time as the clock not their friend. Maye to throw and incomplete. His receiver slipped and fell. Day Reynolds, Florida transfer, had lost his footing at the 50. Armani Chapman was closing in as it was. It will be incomplete and bring up 3rd and 6. This is just the second 3rd down Pitt has faced in the second half. Panthers 3 of 7 on 3rd down in total.
Yeah, good to see the Heels bring in fresh 4 horses on the defensive line.
Yeah,
get some pressure on the quarterback.
Yep, now it's Rucker, Tamari Fox, Miles Murphy, Gaynor. As the Tar Heels continue to try a lot of bodies defensively. Maye to throw, has time to do so. Chucks it down the middle of the field and incomplete. And Maye ends up on his seat. As Tar Heels defended it pretty well, Huzzie and Chapman had the intended receiver, Kenny Johnson,
for an injured offensive player,
bottled up. And there's another injured Pitt player that I think is going to take us to a full timeout. It will. So we'll see what Pitt decides to do with 8:13 to go and down by 17, facing a 4th and 6th on their own 45. You would think they're going to go, but we'll find out after the timeout from Learfield. It appears Pitt's going to go for it on 4th and 6 with 8:13 to go in the 4th quarter. Tar Heels leading 41-24. Acrisure Stadium holds 68,400. Maybe half of that at the beginning of the game, maybe, and much less now as the Tar Heels have led by 3 scores a majority of this second half, but not done yet. 41-24, 8:13 still to go. Pitt with 2 timeouts, Carolina 3. Panthers need the Tar Heel 49 for the first down. They're snapping it on their own 45. Going left to right, ball on the far hash. Evans, Fox, Murphy, Rucker, the front 4 for Carolina. Those were the only 4 that rushed. Maye's throw is incomplete. It was just dropped. Just dropped by the intended receiver, Sebo Flemister. He would have had the first down, but instead, Tar Heels going to have the football.
Yeah, Pitt actually did a good job of protecting right there. Keep a very simple play, just singled up to the short side of the field, run a quick slant, hit him right in the hands, just drop the football like you said.
So Tar Heels will start at the Pitt 45. Be the first time they've started in Pitt territory today. They did start once at the 50. And now this is where Carolina really just wants to run the football. It has been a challenge tonight. 31 carries, 77 yards. Now, that includes 27 yards of sack yardage lost. But still, Carolina has not run it as effectively as they would like to. They are going to hand off to Hampton, and he is hit immediately. He does a nice job fighting for a yard, but the quick hit was made on the play by Solomon DeShields, who plays what Pitt calls the star linebacker position. Gain of 1. But most importantly for Carolina, it wants that clock to run. It's at 7:43 and dropping. Tar Heels up 41-24.
Like to see the Heels run game potentially hit them with a counter misdirection play. They're selling out completely to the run. So if you can get the flow going one way and then come back the other way, might have an opportunity to break one loose.
See when the Heels snap this. They'll do it with 5 on the play clock. Hand off to Hampton, and boy, Pitt just has everybody on their defense is in the box, and Hampton loses a yard. It'll be 3rd down. Let's check in with Lee Pace.
Well, speaking of running the clock, Jones, we are right at the 3-hour mark for this game. Carolina's game against South Carolina took 3 hours and 13 minutes. Minnesota was 3 hours and 12 minutes. That's a little bit less than the average last year of college games of 3 minutes and 21 seconds. So that running clock after first downs might just be helping shorten some games. Of course, the App State game was longer. It's an outlier being that it was overtime.
3rd and 10. See if Carolina keeps it on the ground or if it's going to be a counter this time to Hampton. And again, he's trying to run in a box that has about 9 guys in it. And Pitt, I think, is going to take a timeout. So the Panthers will have one left.
Timeout. Pittsburgh, their second of the half.
It stops the clock with 6:37 to go. So the Tar Heels run it 3 times and get no yards.
30-second timeout.
And force just one timeout taken by Pitt. They do melt the clock to 6:37.
Ben Kiernan time to take that sand wedge out right here and drop it inside the 10-yard line. Give him 90 yards to work with.
And Pitt has returned a kickoff for a touchdown and blocked a punt. Tar Heels have also had some big special teams plays with 30-yard return that set them up at the 50, and then a 52-yard punt return touchdown by Huzzie. I don't think the Heels are going to be pleased with the fact that they just took it over at the Pitt 45 and could not get a yard. But they do lead by 17 with 6:37 to go. Kiernan back to punt. He gets it cleanly and gets it away. Angling to the far side, and the fair catch is made at around the 9-yard line by MJ Devonshire. Looks like they'll give him the 10. So just a 35-yard punt, but that's all the Tar Heels were trying to do to pin the Panthers back. 6:29 to go. We'll take a full break this time. Carolina by 17 from Learfield. Six minutes, 29 seconds to go. Tar Heels 41, Pittsburgh 24. Panthers will have the football on their own 10. One timeout remains. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, it's the official health insurance partner of Carolina Athletics, believes an inclusive community is a healthy community. Here for the Tar Heels, here for all. Drake Maye, 295 yards passing, 1 passing touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns. J.J. Jones, career high, 6 catches, career high, 117 yards. Alijah Huzzie has a punt return touchdown of 52 yards and an interception. Those some of the standouts tonight so far for the Tar Heels. It remains the backup quarterback, Vayer, out there for Pitt. He drops back to throw. Looking down the field. Holy cow, Mumfield got free from Biggers. He was wide open. Carolina able to catch up and take him down near midfield. Mumfield had Biggers all spun around, and because of that, Pitt gets a pretty easy 40 yards on the play.
Yeah, Mumfield, he was running a corner route, and then the quarterback started to scramble, and he brought it back to the post, and Biggers had already played over the top, which left him wide open.
Clock at 5:57 and counting. Pitt does have one timeout. Vayer going to go deep again, and just miscommunication, I think, as that one was to the wrong shoulder and way too far for his intended receiver, Bub Means, who was going down the left sideline.
Yeah, I think that was Amani Chapman on the coverage.
Remember Tayon Holloway ejected for targeting late in the first half? Carolina's mostly had Marcus Allen and Armani Chapman playing the corners. They're the two that are out there now, along with Huzzie, who's playing that nickelback position.
From the 50, second down.
It is 2nd and 10 from midfield. Vayer with some pressure. Again's going to try one deep, and again just sends it over the head of his intended receiver, this time in the middle of the field. He was trying to find Day-Day Reynolds. So Pitt just kind of snapping and chucking right now, and it's 3rd and 10. 41-24 with 5:44 to go.
Yeah, really love seeing the rotation on the defensive line. 3 guys just came out, 3 new bodies in.
So for this 3rd and 10, Rucker, Fox, Murphy, Gaynor will be the front 4. Vayer's going to have 5 wide. Snapping from midfield with the Heels up 17. Pressure there, tips off of Gaynor's hands. Man, he's not going to have an easier interception than that one, and he couldn't squeeze it. It will be 4th down, though, as Vayer, with pressure coming, just threw it right to the dropping Gaynor. Unfortunately, the FSU transfer couldn't hold on.
Exact same defense that they ran early in the game when they sacked Jurkovec down on the 2-yard line. Gaynor comes in with the zone blitz look, gives the look as if he's going to blitz right up the middle, takes 2 steps, backs out.
So it'll be another fourth down attempt. Pitt just failed on fourth down their last possession. Trying it here from the 50. This is 4th and 10. Clock at 5:40, and I believe the Pitt left tackle stood up.
Full start. Offense, number 78.
That's Branson
5-yard penalty.
Taylor.
Fourth down.
That'll make it 4th and 15. As this game just trying to grind to a close here in Pittsburgh.
Come on, D. One more stop. One more stop.
Still 41-24, Carolina. Vayer will be in the shotgun. Has Flemister to his left, and he will throw on 4th and 15. Vayer rolling out to the far side, directing some traffic. Finally just slings it, and it is caught. But there is a flag down back near the line of scrimmage. There's 2 flags down. The ball was caught for a first down of the Tar Heel 35.
Yeah, he was 3 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
through that.
I think he was too far down the field. Vayer just kept drifting and pointing.
Illegal forward pass beyond the line of scrimmage. Offense, number 11. 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul and a loss of down. First down, North Carolina.
So the Tar Heels
Timeout.
will take over, this time at the Pitt 40, as the Panthers able to get it out to midfield, but again fail on fourth down. All right. 5:23 to go. Pitt still has the timeout, so we'll see here. Carolina leads it by 17 from Learfield. Still 5 minutes and 23 seconds on the fourth quarter clock. Tar Heels 41, Pitt 24. Carolina taking over on the Pitt 43-yard line. We'll see who's out there for the Tar Heels, see if they start subbing some. Joe, second half, that's since Vayer took over at quarterback for Pitt. Panthers have gone 3 and out. They did have the kick return touchdown. Then 4 plays and an interception, 1 play and a fumble, 7 plays, turnover on downs, 4 plays, turnover on downs. Second half, Carolina's defense has really shut down Pitt. And honestly, Joe, you go back to Pitt scored 2 touchdowns on the first 2 drives. Defense been pretty darn good after that.
Yeah, I think it's this defense realized that you can overcome adversity now. You can do that. You can still play well, even if you give some things up early. They have defensive confidence to know that they're able to do that, and it shows a lot of maturity that the D's able to hold up like this.
Maye's going to be in the shotgun, so Drake's still out there. We'll give you the O-line here after this first down snap, which is going to be a jet sweep coming to the near side to McCollum. So the inside has been closed as McCollum is kind of juggling the football there near the end of the play. Ends up gaining 2 on the jet sweep. So the O-line from left to right is going to be Diego Pounds, who's been there at left tackle. And boy, what a nice start to his playing career he has had. The sophomore from Raleigh has made 3 straight starts at left tackle and played well. Adorno will be the left guard. Gaynor still in at center. Now Spencer Rollin, who has started every game at right tackle the last 2 years, is going to slide to right guard. And that means Travion Green, a big man, 6'8", 340. Redshirt freshman is at right tackle. Tar Heels are going to run that way with Hampton. Cuts it up and is close to the 40-yard line. Gains 2 on the play. Pitt does have a timeout to use. Tar Heels also have Christian Hamilton, the young receiver. He played a little bit earlier in the game. He'll be wide out to the right with Nesbitt in the slot right. Wide left is Paysour. Slot left is McCollum. Maye still the quarterback. He'll be in the pistol with Hampton behind him. Clock down to 4 minutes right now. Tar Heels up 17. They'll keep it on the ground to choose some clock. Hampton fights through some arm tackles, crosses the 40 to the 38-yard line. Gain of 2. And let's see. Yeah, Pitt's going to take that last time out. So mercifully, they are out.
Timeout.
As the clock is at 3 minutes and 49 seconds to go, Carolina facing a 4th and 4, and this deep at the 38. It wouldn't surprise me if Carolina goes for it.
Did you go for it? That's not. I mean, those last two drives were like Groundhog Day, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, Tar Heels and Carolina has now 3 straight possessions with a punt in this stretch where they've really been trying to kill the clock. It's just been really tough to run the football against Pitt. Tar Heels in the last 3 drives, not including this one, the Tar Heels had run 14 total plays with 3 punts, and they've only run 3 plays here and gained 5 yards. So it's 4th and 5 on the Pitt 38. And it does look like the offense is coming out. So obviously a first down here, and the Tar Heels are going to be knocking on the door of finishing things up. If they don't get it, then Pitt will still have some life, albeit 3:49 to go right now, no timeouts, and Tar Heels up 17. Certainly Carolina is in the better position. Brooks will be the running back, standing to Maye's right. A pass definitely in play here because the clock's going to stop if you don't get the first down. Maye does throw it, but Nesbitt slips and falls as he tried to make his cut. I think had he kept his feet cleanly, the ball was going to be right on the money, but Nesbitt just fell down, again slipping and falling, and the Tar Heels turn it over on down.
Yeah, Nesbitt had a nice post corner route. Worked hard to the post. The DB bit inside, and then when he came out to make his cut back towards the corner, towards the Carolina sidelines, he just fell down.
So this fourth quarter will continue as Pitt will take over on its own 38, out of timeouts now with 3:45 to go. The North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard reads 41-24 Tar Heels. Carolina does have 3 timeouts should they choose to use them. Carolina has some subs, including 2 sub linebackers, Sebastian Cheeks and Amari Campbell, on the field. As they throw in the flat far side, caught but immediate hit by Campbell, taking down Flemister. And I'm going to tell you something, Tar Heel coaches rave about Campbell. And Cheeks, very highly recruited. He's been banged up his whole Carolina career. Excited to see these 2 young linebackers get some snaps.
That was good speed to the ball.
Vayer still the quarterback. He'll throw it. It's caught, and stepping out of bounds is Bub Means on the far sideline to the 41, but the clock will continue to run. It is 3rd and 7. That's a gain of 3. 3rd and 7 and somebody did something they weren't supposed to up front. Each team pointing to the other one. Also out there is Trey Miller, a true freshman from Birmingham, Alabama.
Offside with contact. Defense number 0. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's just the 3rd penalty of the day on the Tar Heels. It comes against Tamari Fox. It'll make this a much more manageable 3rd down for Pitt. But I was saying Trey Miller, freshman from Birmingham, is at one of the corner spots for Carolina. As Pitt's going to run it with Flemister, gets the first down. Crosses the Tar Heel 45 to the 44. So a gain of 10 on the run. Clock moving to 40 and counting. Heels up 41-24. Vayer drops back to throw. Watch out. Here comes Rucker, and down he goes. Rucker just absolutely whipped Ryan Baer up front, and he was in Vayer's face, checking what he had for dinner.
The butcher.
That goes all the way back to the Pitt 41. That's a 15-yard loss on the sack. Rucker's 2nd of the day and 4th of the season. It's another sack to give back, presented by Food Line. Tar Heels will rush just 3. Vayer, I think he threw it to Huzzie, who gets the pick at midfield. Huzzie coming down the near sideline. He's pushed out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Huzzie, 2 interceptions and a punt return touchdown today. He has been a big part of what is going to be a 4-0 start to the year for the Tar Heels.
That was Huzzie. Almost took that to the hizzy right there.
I mean, that ball was thrown directly to him. I'm not sure where Veer thought he was throwing it.
Oh, I wanted him to score so bad right there. He had the sidelines wide open and got one block and was so close.
Huzzie was kind of trying to set up his blocks. We'll say it that way. He wasn't exactly going at 1,000,000 miles an hour there. As the Tar Heels will take over on the Pitt 22. And they still have Maye out there, but I think he's just going to take some knees. So Maye does take the kneel down as Pitt's out of timeout, so the Tar Heels can run this clock out.
No, Jones!
Yep, so that means, first of all, it means that Pittsburgh's going to drop to 1-3 for the first time since 2017. And it means for just the second time in 40 years, the Tar Heels are going to start a season 4-0. They still need to snap it, let's see, two more times. Maye's in the victory formation. He'll take that knee. He will have to snap it once more. So Maye with 296 yards passing and a touchdown. He also has 2 rushing touchdowns. J.J. Jones, career high, 6 receptions, career high, 117 yards. Huzzie with 2 picks, another PBU, and a punt return touchdown. Some of the individual standouts today for the Tar Heels. Clock is down to 45 seconds. Pitt can't stop it. Carolina does have to snap it one more time. Maye under center. He'll get the snap and take the knee. And Carolina can burn off the final 30 seconds off the clock. So the Tar Heels, they knew they were going to take a big punch from Pitt early. The Panthers led 7-0 and 14-7. But after that, Carolina dominates Pitt in Pittsburgh, wins it 41-24. And for the first time since 1997, the Tar Heels start a year 4-0. We're going to take a timeout, come back. Stations, we have that final timeout of in-game breaks that we need to take. We will do that. Then Dave will get you into the post-game inventory and the Coke post-game report after that. I'm going to go talk to Coach Brown, and Dave will get you up to date on scores, stats, and more. Tar Heels 41, Pittsburgh 24. A final from Pitt tonight. Heels 4-0 from Learfield.
Post-game coverage continues now on the Tar Heels Sports Network. You're listening to the Coca-Cola Post-Game Show. Coca-Cola. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Take a taste. This is the Coca-Cola Post-Game Show.
Carolina 4-0 for the first time since 1997, thanks to tonight's 41-24 final at Pittsburgh. Let's get to that North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard without further ado, because it was a busy day around the ACC and top 25. In the league, we'll start off with what might have been the most entertaining game of the day. This one went to overtime. Number 4 Florida State beats Clemson 31-24. It snaps the Noles' 7-game losing streak to the Tigers. Clemson, meanwhile, falls to 0-2 in the ACC for the first time since 2010. Out of the league, Syracuse triumphs over Army 29-16. It's Marshall 24, Virginia Tech 17. Duke clobbers UConn 41-7. Same score here, Miami 41, Temple 7. And Louisville knocks off BC 56-28. Also, Georgia Tech survives at Wake Forest, and the Jackets win 30-16. Outside the league and outside the top 25, East Carolina 44, Gardner-Webb nothing, and Appalachian State falls on the road to Wyoming 22-19. Inside the top 25, couple of games that are just underway heading into the second quarter out in Arizona State. Number 5 USC leads Arizona State 14-7. Meanwhile, up in Seattle, number 8 Washington 31, California 6. That game has 10 minutes and 50 seconds to play before halftime. Your earlier finals, number 1 Georgia 49, UAB 21. Michigan ranked number 2 this week beats up on Rutgers 31-7. Number 3 Texas 38, Baylor 6. Good one from South Bend. Notre Dame had a 14-10 lead in the waning seconds, but Ohio State punches in the go-ahead touchdown, which ultimately proves to be the difference maker with 1 second left. So your final score reads Ohio State 17 and Notre Dame 14. Iowa amasses just 76 yards of offense, had as many first downs as turnovers, 4, and Penn State shuts out Iowa 31-0 in Happy Valley. Colorado's run as an unbeaten comes to an end in Oregon today. The Ducks beat the Buffs 42-6. Utah doubles up UCLA 14-7. LSU holds off Arkansas on the Bayou 34-31. Alabama defends Bryant-Denny Stadium and beats Ole Miss 24-10. Oregon State falls at Washington State 38-35. The Cougars win over Oregon State. Oklahoma 20, Cincinnati 6. Tennessee thumps UT San Antonio 45-14. And number 25, Florida, eases by Charlotte in the Swamp 22-7. That'll do it for your full and complete look at the North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard. Helping you is what they do best. Again, Carolina 4-0. Thanks to a 41-24 win over Pittsburgh. A lot to get to here as the Coca-Cola postgame report continues. Joe Yock will join us from Western Pennsylvania to give us his thoughts on how this one went down. Carolina beats Pittsburgh 41-24 from Learfield. Dave Nathan welcoming you back to the Coca-Cola postgame report. Carolina beats Pittsburgh 41-24. And attention Tar Heel fans, if you've had any alcohol as a part of your game day or game night activities, make sure you don't get behind the wheel. There are more ways than ever to get home safely. You can call a friend, a cab, take a bus, or app your ride. The Tar Heels heading home happy, 41-24 winners on the road at Pittsburgh. Dave Nathan on one side of things, Joe Yock up in game site. And partner, Tar Heels take on an opponent in a true road setting for the first time all year, and certainly looked the part of a worthy contender throughout the second half of tonight's game.
Yeah, what I was most excited about, you have a defense that comes out and they, have 2 long drives right on to start the football game, and you think to yourself, oh no, here we go. This is going to be a tough one to overcome. But instead of burying their head in their sand, they grit their teeth. They start getting after the quarterback, and they compete, and they find a way to shut them down moving forward. Only gave up 3 points after those first 2 drives. You take that long kickoff return for a touchdown out of the game there defensively, and they'd only given up 3 points the rest of the game. So you got to be just so proud defensively of Gene Chizik's defense to be able to step up like that after a very difficult start.
Yeah, just taking a look at what Pittsburgh did after those initial 2 touchdown drives at the beginning of the game. 3 punts, a made field goal, a missed field goal, a couple of interceptions, a fumble, and the Tar Heels got it back on downs twice. So Gene Chizik, I think it's safe to say he's probably going to be a happy camper based off of what his defense did for the final 3 quarters.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that that Coach Chizik did really well is he mixed it up a lot. He brought a lot of different zone blitz packages. Sometimes he brought 3 and dropped 8. He gave the look as if he was bringing a bunch and then dropped guys out. Maury Gaynor almost had a pick there late off a zone blitz. They got a sack off that same defensive look early in the game. Took Jurkovec down at the 2-yard line. So just the way he mixed up his defenses and they executed was really the difference in the ball game.
Joe, you've been on the field before in similar type situations where the opponent gets it, moves right down the field and scores, and then your team gets it and does likewise. Carolina even this game at 7 after a 10-play, 75-yard drive. Emotionally on the sidelines, what are the ebbs and flows like when the offenses are hitting on all cylinders so early?
Yeah, I mean the main thing is you never know what kind of game you're going to get into. So early on it looked like, hey, they go down, they score twice. We go down, we score. See, hey, are we in a shootout? What kind of game are we in? And then what we were able to see is, especially after Alijah Huzzie took that punt back. That punt was a punt right down the middle of the field, the absolute worst pace you can punt a football, right in the middle of the 50-yard line, right in the Pitt spot right there, and they took it all the way back. So that was obviously a huge play in the game. But you never know what direction the game is going to go, so you just keep grinding. You keep sawing wood offensively. Even as poorly as the Heels didn't really break off a lot of runs, they still try to hang in there and try to grind and stick it out, and that allows to bring a lot of those guys in the box. And then you saw, for example, the shot that Drake took to J.J. Jones. So you never know. You just keep on playing, keep on moving, keep on grinding, and then sooner or later you hit those big plays. And so the offense obviously held up their end of the bargain once they got it going too.
41-24, Carolina wins at Pittsburgh. Let's talk about Huzzie for a second here, because this was his breakout performance as a Tar Heel with the interceptions and the punt return for score. The picks are nothing new for the ETSU transfer. He had 12 back in his old Buccaneer days, so he's used to getting his hands on the football. And Joe, you've been on the other side of some of these DBs before. What do you notice about the way Huzzie plays the ball, plays the man, and just plays the game?
Some guys are just natural. Some guys are just natural football players. He's a natural football player. Huzzie takes it to the hizzy, and he is really, really good. It's amazing. You had all these guys transfer out, and everybody's panicking on, oh no, how are we going to replace X, Y, and Z players in the secondary? Hey, Coach Brown did a great job going in the transfer portal, picking up a guy like Huzzie, who has come out and gone above and beyond the expectation of what you expect him as a football player. But overall, it's just the natural ball instincts and being a natural football player and having the confidence to be able to play just an outstanding game. Interceptions, punt returns, just an all-around backyard football player.
Carolina led this game 28-17 at the half. Neither team scored in the fourth quarter. The Tar Heels win 41-24. We'll press the pause button here on the Coca-Cola postgame report. Come back with more commentary from Joe up at Game Site. Dave Nathan back here in the studio. The Tar Heels 4-0 for the first time since 1997, heading into an open date and then 3 consecutive home games beginning October the 7th with Syracuse, Miami in the middle of October, and then Virginia after that. So we'll see how things fall for the Tar Heels, but the Tar Heels have won, and won convincingly in a lot of these early season games. 41-24, the Tar Heels 1-0 in the ACC, by the way. We're coming back for more in just a moment from Learfield.
This copyrighted broadcast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcast rights granted by the University of North Carolina. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of the University of North Carolina and Learfield.
For 25 years, Top of the Hill Restaurant and Brewery has been a pre- and post-game tradition. Handcrafted beer, great food, and atmosphere where Tar Heels come to celebrate. The Tar Heels celebrating a 41-24 win tonight over the Pittsburgh Panthers, and Jones is standing by with Coach Brown in the Continental Tire Coach's Corner.
Yeah, thank you guys. Inside the Continental Tire Coach's Corner after Carolina beats Pitt 41-24. Coach, first 2 drives of the game, Pitt goes down the field and scores a touchdown. They lead it 14-7. From that point forward, your team really seemed to control the game. What changed at that point in your mind?
They came out in different sets. Quarterback was running the ball. They haven't been doing that. They flanked our tackles. They were getting on the edge, and we'd been playing so well up inside, and to give them credit, they had a great game plan. Moving a quarterback, getting him some confidence, doing things they hadn't been doing. And I'll give Gene Chizik and our defensive staff so much credit because they sat there, and I was not happy. They weren't happy, but they fixed it, and that's what you do. And we had the ball only 25 plays the first half. We had it 4 minutes the first quarter. We had it 10 minutes at halftime. I mean, the game's changed with these clock rules. So, but defensively, we protected the ball on offense. I wasn't proud of our 4-minute offense at the end, but we weren't going to throw the ball, and they couldn't win unless we screwed it up. So really, really proud of this football team. Pitt's got a great team, won the league 2 years ago, one of the toughest teams in the league, and we've been able to beat them pretty soundly here 2 years in a row, and that's significant.
When you go into the transfer portal and you're looking for a guy, what was Alijah Huzzie? What was it about him that stood out to you? He ends up with 2 interceptions, a punt return touchdown, and another long punt return that helped set up a score.
You know, we have not been forcing turnovers. We haven't been covering people, and we hadn't had our hands on the ball. We haven't had interceptions, and he had 12 interceptions as an All-American at East Tennessee State. and he played against some good teams. So he's got instincts. He's really competitive, and he can catch. He's got tremendous hands, which he showed tonight. And one thing we didn't know as much about him is he is an outstanding punt returner, which he did show a couple of times tonight.
Coach, first time since 1997 that Carolina's been 4-0. What's that say about this team and where you are heading into a bye week?
Yeah, I was 45, so it's not, and I'm a little older than that now, so it's not an easy thing to do, but really, really proud of these guys. They've accomplished something that hadn't been done around here since 1997, and that was a great team when we left. And also, I'm proud of them, and we've got some banged-up offensive linemen. Hopefully now with a week that's open, we can get some of that, get Willie back, and get some of those guys, get Gavin Blackwell back on the field. But really, really proud of these guys. They've done something that hadn't been done a long time. Now, unlike last year when we won our 9 and got satisfied, we can't be satisfied. We got to try to do everything we can do to get number 5. And Syracuse is a really good football team, undefeated as well.
It's coming up in a couple weeks. Coach, congratulations on the big win, and look forward to talking with you soon.
Thank you.
That's Coach Brown with Jones inside the Continental Tire Coach's Corner. The Tar Heels beat the Pitt Panthers tonight 41-24. We've got an updated look at scores, stats, and, of course, our player of the game all coming up. The Tar Heels beat the Pitt Panthers 41-24. We're back after this from Learfield.
Carolina football has been brought to you by Wells Fargo, official retail bank sponsor of Carolina Athletics. This is the Coca-Cola postgame show.
Well, ordinarily we'd tell you if you're looking for more college football action following our broadcast, we'd tell you to check out the College Football Blitz for free by going to the Varsity Network app. It's the college football audio version of the NFL Red Zone every Saturday from noon until midnight Eastern, and it is exactly midnight Eastern as we speak, so better luck next time on catching the Varsity Network app, but it's fantastic. You want to check it out next week when the Tar Heels are off. Just search College Football Blitz on the Varsity Network app. Carolina very much on tonight in beating Pittsburgh 41-24. The Panthers have dropped to 1-3 and 0-1 in the ACC. Carolina has won 4 straight to open up a season for the first time since 1997 and jump up to 1-0 in the league. So the teams that are currently unbeaten in the ACC, State, Carolina, and Duke are all 1-0. Florida State and Louisville both 2-0. Miami, Syracuse, Virginia Tech have yet to play a game in the league. Pittsburgh, Virginia, and Wake are 0-1. Clemson and BC are both 0-2. And Georgia Tech, with the win tonight over Wake Forest, sits at 500 at 1-1 in the ACC. So that's what things look like right now. Again, no divisions this year. I want to remind you about that. No Atlantic, no Coastal. It's simply the top 2 teams in the ACC that go to Charlotte on the first Saturday in December to play for all the marbles. And right now, Carolina has controlled what it can control. 3 non-conference wins and a league win over Pittsburgh. Second year in a row the Tar Heels have beaten Pitt. That means Coach Brown 2-2 all time against the Panthers. 41-24 is again the final. And as we talked earlier about the role Alijah Huzzie played in tonight's game with the 2 interceptions and the punt return for score, maybe the most freakish play of the game came by the player that you'd expect to make the routine not look so complicated. But Drake Maye all of a sudden decided to raise the degree of difficulty and complete a pass in the end zone with his left hand. It's our Coca-Cola play of the game.
Carolina snapping it off the 8-yard line. Maye pulls it, tries to roll to the far side. Oh, now he's going to throw it and score! Gracious Maye throws it to Paysour in the end zone for the touchdown.
And it wasn't just a completed pass with his left hand, but there were a couple of Pitt defenders all over Maye who throws the touchdown. So Coca-Cola, they say Coca-Cola Zero is irresistibly tasty. Does that make it the best Coke ever? Find out for yourself. Carolina finds its way to a 41-24 win on the road at Pittsburgh, and we'll continue with the Coca-Cola postgame report when we come back from Learfield.
Our post-game coverage continues with the Carolina Ford Dealers Wrap-Up Show. Brought to you by your Carolina Ford Dealers, proud partner of Carolina Athletics. Ford F-150, what legends are made of. See your Carolina Ford dealer today. Here's your host, Dave Nathan.
Deep into a Saturday night, early in a Sunday morning, we are here for the Carolina Ford Dealers Wrap-Up Show. Roughly 30 more minutes worth of Carolina football conversation as the Tar Heels win on the road at Pittsburgh, 41-24. Second consecutive game the Tar Heels have beat Pittsburgh and have put some pretty big numbers up on the board in doing so. Last year's final was 42-24 as, again, Carolina improves to 4-0 this year. In case you've missed the stat, this is the first time Carolina's been 4-0 since 1997. We talked to Chris Keldorf, who quarterbacked that 97 team all those hours ago in pregame, and he really described how hard it is to run any sort of gauntlet, no matter the level of play, and especially considering the Tar Heels have beaten an SEC foe in South Carolina, a Big Ten team in Minnesota, an ACC team in Pittsburgh, and got a Herculean effort from Appalachian State to win in 2 overtimes. Carolina has taken on all comers and stands at 4-0 heading into the only open date of the season, which is next Saturday. Pittsburgh, meanwhile, drops its third consecutive game, is now 0-1 in the ACC, 1-3 overall, and next up travels to Virginia Tech, 8 o'clock next week before its open date on October the 7th. So there's the very near future for both of these teams who are heading in entirely different directions. So we'll catch up with Coach Brown in case you missed his chat with Jones in the Continental Tire Coaches Corner. We'll get to Coach Brown's comments, updated look at the North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard. Nothing to update in the ACC. Our game was the final game of the night as Carolina beats Pittsburgh 41-24. How did it happen? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked, as Pittsburgh actually got on the scoreboard first, took the game's first possession and marched down the field. 13 plays, 78 yards in just under 8 minutes. This was an NFL-sounding drive, and it was all capped off with a 7-yard touchdown run to put the Panthers up 7-0 with about 6:56 left to play in the first quarter. Not to be outdone, the Tar Heels tied the game at 7 on Omarion Hampton's 3-yard touchdown run. That capped a 10-play, 75-yard drive. Didn't take as much time off the clock, but still got the job done. And as we headed into the second quarter, Carolina and Pittsburgh were tied at 7. The Panthers would retake the lead just 5 seconds into the second stanza. It'd be their final lead. Pitt gets a 1-yard touchdown run to go up 14-7, and then the Tar Heels would really take control in what was a pivotal quarter, with Carolina taking a big lead at the half after this game was tied at 7 after the first quarter. The Tar Heels outscore Pitt 21-10 in the second quarter, and the scoring for Carolina began with 9:09 to play before the break. Drake Maye's 1-yard touchdown run capped a 5-play, 50-yard drive and took 2 minutes and a second off of the game clock. And just to go back and look at that drive for Carolina, when Maye punched it in, that was a 4th down conversion, and it was big, as Carolina and Pitt would be tied at 14 with 9:09 to play before the break. Alijah Huzzie's 52-yard punt return comes about a minute and a half later, and the Tar Heels take a lead that they would not relinquish. 21-14. Carolina's got the lead with 7:23 to play in the half. Pittsburgh answers with a 44-yard field goal to get within 4. That'd be as close as the Panthers would get from here on out. The Tar Heels will get one more touchdown before the break. 1 minute left to play in the second quarter. Kobe Paysour reels in the 8-yard touchdown catch from Drake Maye, who tossed it with his left hand. That capped a 7-play, 91-yard drive, 2 minutes and 31 seconds off the clock, and Carolina leads at the half 28-17 over Pittsburgh. The Tar Heels got the ball first to begin the third quarter, and just as Pittsburgh marched down the field to begin the first half, the Tar Heels take it 8 plays and 75 yards, and Maye's got his second touchdown run. This one is again covering just 1 yard, and Carolina's up 35-17 with 12:32 to play in the third quarter. Noah Burnett, again, playing today in place of Ryan Coe, and he played well. 43-yard field goal, the first of 2 field goals for Burnett, puts the Tar Heels up 38-17 with 8:44 to play in the third quarter. Pittsburgh, on the ensuing kick, returns it for a touchdown to creep back within a couple of scores at 38-24, but that would be the final score for Pittsburgh on the night as Burnett's second field goal travels 48 yards and caps Carolina's 10-play, 45-yard drive and a 4-minute and 34-second jaunt down the field to give us our final score of 41-24. That was the final score of the game. It came with 3:58 to play in the third quarter, and the fourth quarter would go back and forth on a series of, there was a block punt that Pittsburgh had. The Panthers would fumble it, give it up on downs, throw an interception. The Tar Heels just did their best to run this clock out and get out of town. And as they're on their way home right now, Carolina coming home happy, 41-24 winners at Pittsburgh. That's how the game unraveled. We'll check in with Coach Brown, who spoke to Jones in the Continental Tire Coaches Corner when things continue on the Carolina Ford Dealers Wrap-Up Show from Learfield. It is the Carolina Ford Dealers Wrap-Up Show. Dave Nathan wrapping up the day that was for you as Carolina sews up a 41-24 win at Pittsburgh to improve to 4-0 on the season and now 1-0 in the ACC. Carolina's got all ACC games for the remainder of the season save for the Campbell game on November the 4th, so things really get cranked up after the open date with those 3 consecutive home games against Syracuse, Miami, and Virginia before the Heels finish October on the road at Georgia Tech. And the old saying goes, you remember November. It starts with Campbell, then Duke, and road trips at Clemson and at NC State. That's what's still ahead for Carolina after week 4 here of the college football season. Some of the numbers from tonight's game, team-wise, Carolina outgains Pitt 373-307. Jones just talked to Coach Brown about what changed after those first 2 drives. Pittsburgh really struggled to move the ball after that. Carolina forced 3 turnovers and got it back on downs a couple of times. On the ground, Pittsburgh only 110 yards. Carolina only had 77. The Tar Heels outgained Pittsburgh through the air by almost 100 yards even, 296-197. Penalties did not help Pittsburgh tonight. 11 flags for 83 yards. Carolina penalized just 3 times for 29 yards. On third down, neither team was bad. Pittsburgh 4 of 10, Carolina 5 of 14. Not what it's accustomed to, but good enough to get the win. The Tar Heels did get a score on a 4th down, couldn't convert another, so 1 of 2. Pittsburgh 0 of 2 on 4th downs. Time of possession, Carolina had it for 29-41. Pittsburgh had it for a little better than 27 and a half minutes. Panthers lost a fumble, picked off twice, and Carolina goes on to win 41-24. Individually, Drake Maye, 22 of 30 passing for those 296 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions on the ground. Maye rushed 10 times, scored twice. British Brooks had 8 carries for 12 yards, and Omarion Hampton led the way for Carolina with 18 carries and 66 yards. One of those carries resulted in a touchdown. Through the air, Maye really spread the wealth around. J.J. Jones had 6 catches for 117 yards, including a long reception of 52. McCollum, after having that 15-catch performance last week, comes back to catch 5 balls for 47 yards. Kobe Paysour had a touchdown catch, one of his 3 receptions for 39 yards. It was 2 catches apiece for Copenhaver, Hampton, and Nesbitt, so backs and tight ends also factoring into tonight's game. Morales, another tight end, and British Brooks, another running back, both had catches as Carolina beats Pittsburgh 41-24. Pittsburgh used 2 different quarterbacks in tonight's game. They combined to go 19 of 34 for 197 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Pitt on the ground carried 27 times for those 110 yards. That's an average of 4.1 yards per carry, and both touchdowns the Panthers got on offense came on the ground. Hammond had 1, Carter had the other, and Pittsburgh not necessarily spreading it around near as much as Carolina did. Mumfield had 8 of the 19 catches for Pittsburgh. 5, make it 6 other players were into the receiving act as well. Nobody had more than 3 catches, though, outside of Mumfield. Carolina prevails 41-24. This game was tied at 7 after the first quarter. Carolina took a 28-10 halftime lead, And then the final margin, 41-24, came your way in the third quarter with neither team scoring in the final stanza. We'll take a last look at the North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard when we wrap up our coverage on the Carolina Ford Dealers wrap-up show. Our final score tonight from Pittsburgh, it's the Tar Heels beating the Panthers 41-24 from Learfield.
What makes a team legendary? Excellence you can count on, day in and day out. Grit, determination, giving it their all until the final whistle. That's what legends are made of. Like Ford F-Series, the best-selling truck for 46 years and counting. Check out the 2023 Ford F-150 truck at your Carolina Ford dealer and become a fan today. Based on 1977 through 2022 calendar year total sales.
From the mountains to the coast, 2.5 million North Carolinians are members of an electric cooperative. As a co-op member, you're part of exciting efforts to power a brighter future in the Tar Heel state. From innovative energy projects that make the grid more resilient and sustainable, to initiatives that strengthen local communities and services that make managing your energy use easier, electric cooperatives are here for you. Learn more at ncelectriccooperatives.com/brighter.
This is Carolina football from Learfield.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger. For the ones who get it done.
For whatever reason, there's always been a stigma around mental health in our communities. Some people say that talking about your feelings makes you weak. But you know what? It doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. No matter what you're struggling with, you can call or text 988-LIFELINE to connect with a trained crisis counselor and get the resources and support you need. No judgment, no stigma, just hope. Text or call 988-SUICIDE and Crisis Lifeline day or night. 988. Hope has a new number.
Carolina Athletics.
Carolina Ford Dealers wrap-up show continues from our Tar Heel Sports Network studios. Dave Nathan with you as Carolina beats Pittsburgh 41-24. We'll conclude the broadcast with our final look at the North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard. Helping you is what they do best. Everything finished in the league. Carolina beats Pittsburgh 41-24. You knew that. Georgia Tech gets a road win at Wake and beats the Deacs 30-16. Louisville wins at home over Boston College 56-28. Miami thumps Temple out of the league 41-7. Duke 41-7 winners at UConn. Marshall upends Virginia Tech 24-17. Syracuse 29, Army 16. And in a thriller from about 12 hours ago, Florida State 31, Clemson 24. It took overtime to decide that matchup. On Friday, NC State prevailed at Virginia, winning 24-21. Up to the minute, ACC standings look like this. Florida State and Louisville atop the pile with identical 2-0 records. And then it's Duke, Carolina, and NC State, the three triangle teams, at 1-0. Georgia Tech, the only other team with a win. The Jackets 1-1. Miami, Syracuse, Virginia Tech have not played an ACC game yet. And then the teams with losing records, Wake, Pitt, and Virginia 0-1. Clemson and Boston College. Who could have predicted it this early in the season? It'd be those two teams sitting at the bottom of the pile at 0-2. A lot of season left, but certainly not the start, especially for a team like Clemson that the Tigers wanted to get off to. All right, let's go back to the top 25 with those two West Coast games very much in progress. And into the second half currently, USC leads Arizona State 21-13. This game 11 seconds into the third quarter. 13:50 to play in the third quarter. Washington still maintains a 45-12 lead against California. Number 1, Georgia, 49, UAB 21. That's a final from between the hedges at the Big House in Ann Arbor. Number 2, Michigan stomps Rutgers 31-7. Texas stays unbeaten and rocks Baylor 38-6 in Waco. This one was interesting. Ohio State gets a go-ahead touchdown with 1 second left to beat Notre Dame 17-14. So the Irish likely to drop out of the top 10, while Ohio State will certainly stay inside the top 10 with that 17-14 win on the road against the Irish. Penn State 31, Iowa nothing. Hawkeyes turn it over 4 times and gain just 4 first downs in that contest. Colorado takes its first L in the Deion Sanders era. Oregon comes out on top of the Buffaloes 42-6. More Pac-12 action. Utah doubles up UCLA 14-7. In the SEC, it's LSU 34, Arkansas 31. More SEC action from Tuscaloosa. This was a top 15 game. Alabama, though, beats Ole Miss 24-10. Washington State with a 38-35 verdict at home against Oregon State. It's Oklahoma 20, Cincinnati 6. Tennessee 45-14 in beating UT San Antonio. And our final top 25 game of the night saw number 25 Florida ease by Charlotte in the Swamp 22-7. That completes our final look at the North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard. Helping you is what they do best. Boy, big night and a big morning as Carolina beats Pittsburgh 41-24. A huge thank you to John Essex staying up late with all of us and pushing every right button back at Mission Control. Dave Nathan signing off and saying so long and farewell from our Tar Heels Sports Network studios, reminding you our final score, Carolina 41, Pittsburgh 24 from Learfield.
This has been the Carolina Ford Dealers Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by your Carolina Ford Dealers, proud partner of Carolina Athletics. Ford F-150, what legends are made of. See your Carolina Ford dealer today. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Tar Heels Sports Network.